energize yourself, boost your system, it is Rush Energy Drink. We also have Ula's Enterprise. Ula's Enterprise, yes, they are the best when it comes to items involving generators, plants, then wheelbarrow. They provide all these services. And so if you need any of these, you can go to Ula's Enterprise. We also have Just Chinese. Yes, I mean, Just Chinese, you all know they are the best meal, and then anything that you want involving a meal, they will provide it for you. Vena and mineral water, they are also part of our sponsors. They are also #1 in Ghana when it comes to the water that they provide. For people, we have DSTV. I mean, the official broadcast of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. All the 104 matches are live on DSTV exclusively. You will not get it anywhere. So DSTV also part of our sponsors for the coverage of 2026 FIFA World Cup. Let's go for a quick break. When we return, I'll introduce my guest, then we'll delve into the analysis.
Bigo Cola is changing the game and giving away free cash. Introducing the Bigo Scan and Win promo. Your chance to enjoy great taste and win instant cash every day. Just buy a bottle of Bigo Cola, locate the QR code on the label, scan with your smartphone, watch the video and enter your details and stand a chance to win instant cash. No waiting, no stress, just real rewards instantly. From everyday refreshment to unexpected rewards, Bigo Cola is more than a drink, it's an experience. So what are you waiting for? Grab your Bigo Cola today, scan the code and win big.
Bigo, big on taste, refresh your vibes.
This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
This advert is FDA approved.
Women and lactating mothers. This advert is FDA approved.
Every game starts with pressure. The pressure to move faster, push harder, go further. On the pitch, every second matters. Every sprint, every tackle, every chance. The world watches, but pressure doesn't stop me. It drives me. Because energy changes everything. The energy to keep moving, the energy to keep fighting, the energy to rise when the moment gets bigger. From the training ground to the world stage, I bring everything I've got. I don't wait for the moment, I create it with the energy that keeps me rising. Rush Energy Drink. Be bold, be you.
Drink responsibly. Not recommended for persons below 18, pregnant women and lactating mothers. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back from that quick breather. Now let me also acknowledge some few sponsors, and then we go straight into the match analysis and then the commentary shortly. You also have Melcom, where Ghana shops. I mean, any item, refrigerator, I mean, any appliances or item that you need, Melcom makes provision for all this. You have Bigo Cola. Yes, one of the best cola products in Ghana, and then they're also making waves when it comes to I mean, drinks to enjoy when you need to relax. You have 369 Gym and Wellness Center. They provide 24-hour service when it comes to fitness and then massage as well. And so they are also the best when it comes to gym services providers in the country. We have Emmeline Logistics, your trusted paint and plasterboard supplier when it comes to paints. They are the best currently in Ghana. Let me introduce my guest. I have with me Victor Kwao, and then Seth Soti. Seth will be our commentator for today, and then Victor. Let's go straight into the lineup. It's out. You have South Africa. I think they've made some changes. So in post, you have Ronnie Williams, and then the back line of Opolis, Reynes, and Maseko. Foster has been dropped. You know, I mean, his performance in the first game. I mean, talk to me about Bafana. I said in the first game, Hugo Bruce lost the game because of the approach, defensive approach that made him lose. Talk to us about this lineup, and then how you expect Hugo Bruce to adapt and adjust to the game.
Yeah, I mean, thank you very much. I think you said it all. In the first game, it was very defensive. He went for 3-5-2. One of the South Africans said, when the players lifted their eyes to the crowd, they realized that there was absolutely nobody in that crowd that was just cheering them on. It also got a huge toll on them. But I think today's game, if you watch the lineup very well, Hugo Bruce have made 3 changes to the starting lineup. And you look at the kind of formation he wants to play, he's going for 4-2-3-1, which is more attacking minded. Yeah. And it means that Leo Foster, who was a bit shambolic in the previous outing, have been retracted in that particular game. He's brought in new players like Maseku, who is likely to do the job up front. Against Czechia, they need to up their game. Reason why I totally agree with Coach Hugo Bruce that go in with your best foot. And what is your best foot? Make sure you go with an attacking threat.
Make sure you go with an attacking threat. And let me come to you, Seth. I mean, Czechia, you know, the first game they lost 2-1 to South Korea. But I think comparatively, performance, I think they offered something better than what South Africa did. What do you expect from these players? And then a battle against South Africa. Briefly.
Well, I just expect them to take the game to South Africa and score a lot more goals. I don't think they were bad against South Korea. They deserve to have at least drawn the game. Things just didn't go their way, and Korea just got the advantage and won. So I think I expect them to just take the same approach, and they will get a lot more goals today.
They will get a lot more goals. And so kickoff is almost underway, and so Seth will take over the commentary.
Well, good evening and welcome to the magnificent Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, where the second round of matches for the 2026 FIFA World Cup gets underway. Well, tonight, 2 nations arrive knowing that exactly what is at stake. South Africa and Czechia both suffered defeats in their opening group encounters, and another setback this evening could leave their World Cup dreams hanging by the thinness of shreds. For South Africa, it's a chance to respond after the disappointment of the opening day defeat by 2-0 against Mexico. For Czechia, it's an opportunity to mark their return to the World Cup after about 20 years of absence. 90 minutes, one objective, keep the dream alive. Well, the game has currently started, and Czech Republic are way in the half of South Africa. There was a chance for Patrick Schick. He heads the ball, and it's a goal kick for the South African team. I'll get you the lineups. Rowan Williams of Mamelodi Sanders is the goalkeeper. Well, the back four remains unchanged from last week's game. Modiba, Mbukazi, Okon, and Mudau are the 4 players who are the defenders. Then Tepoho, Mokoena, and Adams are the holding midfielders. Apollos Oswin makes a first start in the team. He's the new entrant, as well as Talente Mbata, who's also a new entrant in the team. And then Ikram Renes replaces the big news. He's replacing Lau Foster after such an underwhelming performance in the first game against Mexico. He replaces him well. There's a chance for Czech Republic. Kolisi Mudau, as usual, very defensive-minded. He takes the ball swiftly to a corner kick. And obviously, we've seen Czech Republic in the first 2 minutes of the game. They've, as I predicted, taking the game to the South Africans. We've seen 2 chances. The first chance we saw Patrick Schick for a cross. He headed the ball in, and unfortunately he couldn't. It wasn't a shot on target. It went for a goal kick. And the second chance, we've seen it. Well, a corner kick effected has been cleared. South Africa have the chance to go. We see South Africa, well, it's been intercepted. Well, we see Apollos on the ball. South Africa trying to break on the counter situation. Let's see where that leads them. Well, they've slowed the ball down. The ball goes all the way back to Ocon. Ocon now has the ball. He gives the ball to Kulisa Mudau, who just won the CAF Champions League with Mamelodi Sundowns. He has the ball up front. The ball now comes to Teboho Mokoena. Now the ball is now with Teboho Mokoena. Well, South Africa truly slowly building up the pace into the game. Victor, what do you make of the approach of the South Africans? They've soaking up the pressure a little. They're trying to now settle into the game and take the game to the Czech Republic.
Yeah, I think obviously the best thing to do is to, not to sit back, but you need to attack. And I think that's what they are doing. I think it's been 2 minutes of Czechia showmanship, but I think South Africa gradually are warming themselves back into the game. That is what you want to see, and especially the right-hand side where Mudau is based. His experience, and if they need to prevent any ball from finding the back of the net this evening, it needs to be Mudau. He needs to command the back line. Thank God that Roy Williams is that goalkeeper that have got that huge presence. One thing I expect from him is to shout on the defenders, because he is the last man, watches them very well, and I think that South Africa just need to go out in this particular game. Police and the rest need to do the job out front.
Well, just 3 minutes into the game, and there's been an infringement against South Africa, and I think the culprit is Teboho Mokoena, who also won the CAF Champions League with Mamelodi Sundowns just this season. He's been complaining badly to the referee, making an application and registering displeasure, but it seems the referee, who is actually a female for today's game, actually as well, is very confident in the decision. Well, that's Czech Republic now have a chance to score. It's a set piece, a cross into the box. And the ball goes to Vladimir Silva. He crosses the ball in. An interception by Adams. And it's a corner for Czech Republic. Well, the Czech
absolutely
are mounting the pressure on South Africa. And within the first 4 minutes, it's been 2 corners for Czech Republic.
Well, it tells you what they want to do. I think that the only bad match in South Africa's game in the last 8 or 10 matches is that loss against South Korea. Aside that, it's been perfect record for them, no stain in their shirt. They've been winning. And so in today's game, they will want to pour themselves out against South Africa, because, look, the two sides need a win in this game. If you lose, you are almost on the verge of exiting the tournament, and you want to understand why the likes of Thomas Suset, who is not starting today, but might be coming in, the likes of Patrick Schick, that's a big job on his shoulder. He needs to lead by example, and South Africa currently just doing lots of defending.
Well, we spoke of South Africa. Let's look at the Czech Republic team. The goalkeeper for tonight is Cover. He maintains his place as the #1 for them. Krejci, Hranka, and Hollis are the 3 centre-backs for Czech Republic, who are now playing a 3-back after switching to a 4 team. But Czech Republic have a chance. Well, there you have it. Patrick Schick has, Sadilek instead has scored the first goal for Czech Republic. I told you that Czech Republic were taking the game to the South Africans. 5 minutes into the game, from a counter-attack situation, South Africa trying to build up from the back, lost the ball, and Czech Republic have got the first goal of the game.
Yes, I mean, this is not surprising. As you said, from the onset of the game, the Czechia players have, taken the game to the South Africans, and you would expect that they will be more organized at the back. But I think in their attempt to do that, there were spaces, and I think the Czechia players made use of the spaces, and that has resulted in the goal. Per what has transpired so far, if you have to go the same tangents, then I think that South Africa have a long way to go. Czechia could score more goals if they keep soaking the pressure in this manner.
Absolutely. Just watch how they considered goal. Very symbolic defending. Look at about 3-4 defenders. Everybody, the likes of Mudau, Ocon. How do you give Sadilek so much space inside your own penalty area? He's certainly going to punish you. And I would be a bit surprised if Ron Williams was able to get his hand to this ball, because there was no way the goalkeeper was going to get attached to this particular ball. And I kept saying it. South Africa are in for a huge upset into this game.
Well, South Africa are in huge trouble by Victor there. And in fact, it's a lot of trouble for them, because South Africa have made it to the World Cup. This is their 4th appearance. And in all their previous 3 appearances, they've not made it past the group stage. This was a time where they felt they could have made a difference. And unfortunately, in their second game, they are currently losing in the first 6 minutes. And it tells you that they are, if they don't change things, it's not looking very good for the Bafana of South Africa there. Well, the ball goes back to Tebodo Mokwana, and Patrick Schick attempted an interception, but South Africa have handed the ball. The ball goes now to Kolisi Mudau, who is trying to handle the ball. The ball goes to Maseko. Maseko tries to find the player, and the ball goes to Adams. Adams hands the ball to Imbokazi. Imbokazi hands the ball to Modiba, who had a very brilliant game against Mexico, but unfortunately, he couldn't score. Vladimir Super makes an interception, and, well, Patrick Schick tried to get the ball. Well, South Africa have intercepted the ball again. The ball now goes to Maseko. Maseko is trying to find Kolisi Mudaho, and I think that's a very brilliant partnership the two of them can form and hamper the left-hand side of the Czech Republic defense. Well, there's a chance Kolisi Mudaho loses the ball, and slowly you could see Czech Republic are trying to build themselves into the game, settle into the game, and then they would try and get a few more goals. I think this is the game where if Czech Republic continue the way they are playing, they will be able to get at least 3 goals in this game against South Africa. So that's how the goal came about. Kolisi Mudaho was out of position trying to attack the space, and that's how come Sadilek actually got the chance and beat the on-rushing Rowan Williams. Rowan Williams is a very experienced goalkeeper of South Africa. He has been at the job since 2014. So he's very experienced, more than a decade of service to the Bafana of South Africa. In fact, he's one of the few goalkeepers in African football who has been given a Ballon d'Or shout-out. He was also a nominee for the Yashin Trophy, which is now the new Ballon d'Or category for goalkeepers. He's also been the CAF Goalkeeper of the Year, CAF Interclub Player of the Year. Well, there's a chance for Czech Republic. Velvet Super crosses the ball, and a crucial interception from Kolisi Mudau. But the referee says is an offside.
Again, you see how South African defense have been breached again. I don't know, just the movement from the players, not the kind of, just look at it.
So Super got the blind side of Modiba.
Absolutely.
Just by an inch. If he was an inch behind, that would have been onside.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, it's worrying. It's a worrying spectacle to see how easily the Czechia or the Czechs are able to breach South Africa's defense. Very, very abysmal. And I think that somebody at South Africa's back need to own up and need to lead the line. And I'm expecting the likes of Kolisi Mudau to own up and shout on the guys, because it looks like they are a bit disorganized at the back. It's also looked as if because Hugo Bruce is playing attacking line, the focus is how they'll get into their opponent half, forgetting that if you lose the ball, you need to defend, and that is where the likes of Patrick Schick might be pouncing on those chances to punish them.
Well, speaking of Patrick Schick, the Czechs remain heavily dependent on the goals of Patrick Schick, who comes into this competition with 26 goals in 54 appearances for his country. Remember, he scored at the Euro 2020. He scored the goal of the tournament when he scored from the halfway line, as well as he also was the silver. In terms of top scorers, he was the second top scorer in that tournament as well. Patrick Schick, a very important player for the Czech Republic. It will be very important for them because Czech Republic as well are making it to their second ever appearance at the World Cup since becoming independent. So the last time they were at the World Cup was in 2006 when they had Tomasz Rosicky, Peter Cech, as well as Pavel Nedved, who had won the Ballon d'Or. Since 2006, they are now making their return after 20 years, and they need to do a showing. Well, South Africa now has the ball, trying steadily to build. The ball is now with Modiba. Modiba tries to flick in the cross. Unfortunately, is intercepted. Sufal gets the ball. And Czech Republic, after intercepting, are trying to counter-attack. And unfortunately, it doesn't end there. But still, fortunately for Czech Republic, it's still a corner in an advantageous position for them in the half of South Africa. South Africa, after 10 minutes, are laboring. They're huffing and puffing, running around. They are chasing. They have been second best throughout the game so far. And it's going to be a long walk for Hugo Bruce, who coincidentally has announced that after this tournament, he's retiring and is going to rest after such an illustrious career of being a coach for close to 40 years.
I mean, if you look at the performance of the South African national team, quite remember in the AFCON, the sort of performance that they gave us, it was sort of hope. It gives you hope that heading into the World Cup, you do something exceptional. Now you are playing against host nation Mexico, and then you start with a defensive mindset. I mean, come on. I was South Africa, but I think that approach was very wrong, and I mean, a coach of his caliber shouldn't be doing that, but that caused them, and here they are. If you don't get good results from this game, you are heading out of the tournament. And I mean, if this happens, I think every coach in their right sense would think of, I mean, resigning. You don't need to be given a sack letter. I mean, yes, the criticisms are enough to
But
do
in
for
Ghana,
that.
you need a sack letter.
Oh, I mean, for Ghana, you know our system, it needs the compensation fee is very important. And so, yeah, they will stick to the job and then make sure if you sack him, he gets, I mean, some allowance later on. But yes, Hugo Bruce has had, I mean, a very illustrious career, as you said. And then, but then the performance in the World Cup is very, very shambolic. It's something that we all didn't expect.
Well, South Africa, after a strong shot from Apollos, have a corner. They decided to take it shortly, and instead they've given the ball to Mpokazi. Mpokazi gives the ball to Ocon. Ocon now, instead of a corner, they've taken the ball back and trying to build up Modiba with a shot, but it's well off target. Well, Modiba as well, Aubrey Modiba tried those shots in the first game against Mexico. 2 of them were brilliant shots which were actually saved by the Mexican goalkeeper. He's always find a way of getting a shots on target. Unfortunately, this shot was way off target. And a player like Aubrey Modiba, who is with Mabile Sanders, will be very important for South Africa if they're able to, if they will be standing a chance of equalizing and trying to get a goal. But speaking of exiting, I don't think it's effectively over for them with the expansion of the number of teams from 30 to 48. Even if they are able to win their last game
against South Korea,
there could be a chance of they qualifying.
Bro, but it's a difficult task. I mean, that's heavy. You know, if you're not able to play Czechia, who, you know, were outrun by South Korea, then you don't have any chance. And I don't like what I'm seeing from the South Africans so far. I mean, they are not creating chances. The few ones they get, they are blasting Modiba. Just look at the kind of ball.
Well, Patrick Schick had a chance, and there was a bit of miscommunication between Adam Rosic and Patrick Schick. Both coincidentally, both strikers play in the Bundesliga. Schick is with Schick is also with one club, and Rosic is also with Hoffenheim. Yeah,
and Schick with Bayern.
Schick with Bayer Leverkusen. Schick, in fact, is a bit of a journeyman. He started with Sparta Prague, went to Bohemian, ended up with Sampdoria, came to AS Roma, then he ended up with RB Leipzig, and then he's finally with Bayer Leverkusen. He's been a journeyman, so Czech Republic, he's been to Italy, and now he's with Germany. And well, it's a very interesting partnership with Hoffenheim's Adam Rosic, also a very important player. Was also a striker for them at the Euro 2024 tournament. Well, and a cross into the box, but interception by Ocon. Ocon, coincidentally, is a player with a mixed. He's a binational, a player with a dual nationality. He has Nigerian parent and a South African parent as well. So in this area of xenophobic attacks, when Nigerians are being asked to leave the country, in fact, there were calls for him to leave the national team because he has some Nigerian blood here. And that's absolutely ridiculous for a player who has a South African mother. I thought it was very ridiculous for them to ask him to leave. He has dedicated his life to the South Africa, and I thought that it was very ridiculous. And I can see at this point that South Africa are feeling the effect of their decision to let Africans leave, because Warren Williams in the last post-match press conference said that he was surprised at the lack of support from Africa, especially when there are only 10 teams at the World Cup. So he thought that African teams will support each other.
And he even added that you separate
politics from football.
Football. And Hugo Bruce said they are, unperturbed about those, criticisms, but definitely it's having a toll on the players.
Yes. Well, speaking of Hugo Bruce belongs to an exclusive class of coaches. Out of the 48 coaches at this year's World Cup, about 15 of them have played the game as footballers at the World Cup and have also coached at the World Cup. Hugo Bruce is one of them. Hugo Bruce played for Belgium at the 1986 World Cup for them, and he's now coaching South Africa at the 2026 World Cup. Well, South Africa had the chance, crossing by Kolisi Mudau. One of his strong points for him as a right fullback, a modern day fullback, is his ability to cross the ball. It was a good cross for him, but unfortunately, Ikram was not able to get a latch onto the ball and cross it very well, and he was arguing for a corner, but I think the referee says it's rather a goal kick in favor of Czech Republic.
Yeah, I think great stuff from South Africa. I think in the last 2 minutes they've gotten themselves into the game. They've had load of possession a bit, but I think if you watch that ball, that was just snapped in a few seconds ago. I think that the ball should have been dropped well for Reines to pick. It was dropped behind him. I think that Marcel Cook should have gone direct And such chances, the South Africans must make good use of such chances, because we've seen in games, if you don't take your chances in the first half, second half, the likes of Czech and the rest will come out gun blazing, and then they will punish you. So we need to be very careful.
Well, so that's Ikram Reyners. He plays for Mamelodi Sundowns, and in fact, a large number of the players for the South African national team are playing for Mamelodi Sundowns. Williams, the goalkeeper, Modiba, Ibukazi, Modao, Mokwena, Reyners, Maseko are playing. I think just a few, about two of them play for Orlando Pirates, their rivals. I think Oswin Apolis, yes, and Talente Mbata are playing for Orlando Pirates.
And that's a huge gap in talent, because look, the World Cup stage is not African Cup Champions League. Reason why when we saw their clubs participate in the Club World Cup, we saw their performance. It means that you cannot transport this crop of players or this remnant of players onto the world stage. You get beaten by countries that bring in loads of talent from top tier Premier League, like the English Premier League, the Italian Serie A, the German Bundesliga, and perfectly that is the kind of difference we are seeing from the South African team. Their inability to export players outside, I mean, it's having a huge toll on them as well.
Well, Ikram Reyners with Mamelodi Sundowns, he's made his 19th appearance for the Bafana Bafana. He has scored 5 goals. He made his debut for South Africa in 2023, and he replaces the very experienced Lau Foster, who underwhelmed in their first game against Mexico there. Another player to look out for is Tapelo Maseko, who also with who initially was with Sundowns. He's now with AEL Limassol in Cyprus. He made his debut in 2022. He played 8 games so far. He scored 1 goal. So, well, a lot of the players for South Africa have not scored a lot of goals, and so it is going to be a very big ask from Hugo Bruce to be asking these players to score goals for them, especially as now South Africa will need at least 2 goals at the moment if they would win this game.
Yes, and I haven't seen that. The Czech here, I think I'm very impressed with the way they've handled and sustained the momentum of the game. When they are defending, you see numbers in the box, and when they are attacking, you see numbers in the final third. And so that's something commendable from the coach. I believe that so far, the South Africans haven't been able to create anything meaningful, and out of which they could get the equalizer. I think the Czech here are still trying to get the second goal, because the game is, South Africa can equalize at any time, and if that happens, it also puts pressure on you. And in your attempt to, get the winner, that could also leave you, give them opportunity for counter-attacks and all that. So they want to close the game as early as possible. And so they are still trying, but I think the South Africans are trying to stay compact, and then in attack, they will be able to, create something. But the likes of, the attackers, Reyners, Police, they need creativity up front. They lack that.
And I think that is as a result of the absence of Thembazwane in this game. And I think that's cruel for them, because remember that he got a straight red card in the first game. So what that means is that he's going to miss 3 games, and this is the first one. The second one will be their third game. So if they don't win this game, it means that Thembazwane's World Cup minutes has effectively come to an end, and it means that it was also that the most creative player for South Africa in Thembazwane played less than 30 minutes of World Cup in his whole career, because the last time South Africa was at World Cup was in 2010, and I'm sure they are paying duly for that.
Yeah, and interestingly, I think so far I'm happy about what South Africa is doing in terms of possession. They've been able to hog most of the ball, and that is what you need to do. You don't need to allow the Czechs play. You need to hog possession. You need to, when you hog onto possession, then you can create pocket of spaces in Czech's half. And so far, in terms of possession, they are leading Czech. But when they started the game in the last 10 minutes, it was Czech. But I think for now, they are doing the basic stuff. And I'm very confident that even if South Africa lose this game, they will score this goal, because if we check or scan the history of this Czech side, they have always conceded. They have always conceded in their last 5-6 games. So it means that their defense is not invisible. Their defense is very visible. If only the likes of Reyners and then the others, Police, are able to do their job very well, I think that they should be able to get a goal in this particular fixture.
Well, that will be a big ask for South Africa at the moment. They are a team that seldom win a lot of the games. But the good thing about South Africa is that the last time they met an European team at the World Cup was in 2010, when they met France in that group. And surprisingly, first station South Africa were able to beat France by 2-1. But at that time, the France team was depleted and they were in a bit of chaos. Remember the issue between Nicolas Anelka and Patrice Evra, and how with their manager Dominic, and a whole lot of problems. South Africa have a chance, a cross into the box by Aubrey Modiba, and it's been intercepted. was a chance for a throw-in. Apolis decides to effect the throw-in, and he decides to give the ball rather to Aubrey Modiba of Molu Sanders. He throws the ball to Apolis. Apolis gives the ball to Teboho Mokwena. Mokwena gives the ball to Poliso Mudau. Mudau takes the ball all the way back to Okon. And instead of building the ball forward, South Africa have taken the ball back. There's a switch in play. Unfortunately, it was supposed to get to Aubrey Modiba. It was too strong for him. The ball goes back to Mateo Kova of Czech Republic, who's the goalkeeper. Launches a long one and he gets all the way back to the ball. Mokwena goes back to Aubrey, and the ball is now with South Africa, building all the way back. I think that South Africa's approach in this game is, instead of going very straight, they go sideways and try to get through their wingers. I think there's the number of players in the Czech Republic midfield is enormous. They have about 5 players in their midfield, and so it's almost impregnable for them to go through. And so they are now going through the wings in the players like Apolis and Modiba, and players like Poliso Mudau and Talente Mbata, and as well as Maseko. Well, after 22 minutes in the game, Czech Republic are leading by a 1-0 against South Africa. It's time for the hydration break. We'll take the thoughts of Victor as well. Victor, first 22 minutes in the game, Czech Republic took the lead in the first 6 minutes. South Africa are now chasing the game. They've been second best in all aspects of the game. What do you make of their team's performance? Especially, let's look at the performance of their striker, Ikram Reyners, especially because he was in to replace Lau Foster, who is a very experienced Premier League striker. What do you make of the performance of Ikram Reyners so far?
Well, I think Ikram Reyners is too early from just 22 minutes. And when I look at his performance and I look at his rating, I think that he's got a lot to do in this game. Yes, definitely he's running into the pockets of spaces, but the big question is he being served with those balls that needs to come his way? I think that so far the wingers, the likes of Apolis and then Maseko, have failed to give out those incisive passes to him inside the Czechia box. They need to keep those balls coming. And when you talk about the wingers, I think against Mexico, what Hugo Broos did was that he didn't trust the wingers, thereby dropping the likes of Apolis. You know, he didn't really use them. He used the likes of Mudau and then Modiba in that particular game. But what he has done in today's game is to give the wingers that kind of free role to operate in this particular game. I think so far it's been positive for them, but my only issue is that Czech knows that they are very feeble at the back, they are very weak at the back. Reason why anytime South Africa is in possession, they don't allow one-on-one, 1v1. They ensure that there's double marking just to close down the gap. But if what I've seen is something to go by, I think that South Africa are still in this game. They just need to sack themselves. I think yesterday we saw it when it became very tough. We saw Carlos Queiroz, telling the players what to do in the next half, and that changed the complexity of the game. This is where you need the experience of Hugo Broos to count here. You need his experience. He needs to tell the players during this hydration break what they need to do. He needs to give them some sort of motivation, because already the guys are down already. A lot of stuff is happening. They've flown into this tournament very late. Visa issues here and there. They didn't start on time. So look, there are a lot of emotions. He's the man. He's old enough and has seen it all in world football to get the right message to the guys. If he's able to do that, I think that South Africa at least will equalize before we head to the halftime break. I'm still confident because I've got South African,
interest. I understand you've got a lot of South African friends, and I'm sure. So you don't mind about the things they are doing in their country. No, that doesn't influence your decision.
No, absolutely not. This is football, and I think that look, these players are innocent. You get it? These players are innocent. So, and it's about Africa. Yeah, so far it's just South Africa and Tunisia that have breached our record in this particular World Cup. Talk about Cape Verde and the rest. They've done so well. And you see, this is a big case for Africa, because if our teams do well, then we can go back to FIFA and tell them you need to increase our slot. Because
so you're pushing for Africa's slot to be increased again.
Yeah, because if Africa get more slot, then some of us can get to the World Cup and do commentary and make more money.
Nice.
So there's interest everywhere. Absolutely, interest everywhere. But I think so far so good from South Africa, and I love what I'm seeing. But it's a bit sad that Zwene, the most experienced creator of the side, is having recorded, and there's no inspiration for them in the middle. No inspiration for them. And even Adams, that must be doing all the running in this game. It looks like the Czechs have been able to curtail him so far.
It looks like the Czech recognize the potential of players like Teboho Mokwena and Adams, and so they stockpile their midfield with a lot of players, and so it's getting very difficult for South Africa to be able to penetrate through the middle. So they are going through the flanks, and the players like Aubrey Modiba, Poliso Mudau, as well as Maseko and Apolis are the ones who are instrumental in getting that long ball searching for Apollos. Apollos gets the ball. He attempts to dribble. He gives the ball back to Obre Modiba. Modiba gives the ball back to Apollos. Apollos is looking for a player. He attempts a through pass to Ikram. Ikram Reynolds gets the ball. He attempts a pass to. Oh, he misses it, and it's been intercepted. Well, Patricia gets the ball. He attempts a dribble against Mbukazi, but Mbukazi, very physical, gets the better of Patrick Schick. Patrick Schick, a very important player for Czech Republic, as I told you earlier. This season with Bayer Leverkusen, played 42 times for Leverkusen. He scored about 22 goals this season, almost scoring a goal every 2 games. Very, very prolific striker. In fact, he should have made a move away to big clubs a few years ago, but unfortunately for him, during his medicals, it was found that he had problems with his heart, and so that has affected his move away from Bayer Leverkusen. But it was a very important player for Bayer Leverkusen when they won the double 2 years ago, when they won the Bundesliga as well as the DFB Pokal, and later on the DFL Super Cup. Patrick Schick, a very, very important player. A journeyman. He has traveled all around, started from Sparta Prague, ended up in Bohemian, then left to Italy for Sampdoria, then was a very important player for Roma when they defeated Barcelona a few years ago, I think in 2018, when Messi was around. And then he left Roma, he traveled to Germany, played for RB Leipzig, and then he's now with Bayer Leverkusen there. Now
but so far he's been a passer. He's just been a mere passenger in the game so far. But look, I'm thinking this is a top player. He doesn't need so many touches.
Exactly.
1 or 2 you punish you. But I think that so far the likes of South Africa's backline have been able to take him. He's just been too called to one particular area. But I'm saying don't give him so much time, because these guys are exceptional. 1-2 touch, they punish you.
Exactly. Mbukazi and Ime Okona have been very, very important and very crucial in making sure that he has not had a good game. But the thing, as you said, with him is that he's a prolific striker. He doesn't need a lot of touches of the ball. 1 touch, he gets the job done. A very potent striker. Well, Adam Posek went into a tussle for the ball with Teboho Mokoena, but he seemed to have caught the leg of Teboho Mokoena. And surprisingly with footballers, you catch a player, he's feigning ignorance and innocence. Or the ball, Teboho Mokoena is up and running, he gives the ball to Ime Okene. You're trying to make a point?
Yes, so far so good. I think after the hydration break, South Africans are trying to settle into the game. They are gradually gelling together and to create something up front. I think there was a chance that they should or could have done something with it. But I mean, once again, there seems to be some rush among the attackers. And so when that comes, they are unable to, be composed and then take their chances. But I think I like the way they are faring in the game so far. Dictating the pace of the game. But the most important thing is to get into the final third, try to create chances. And their wingers, as you said, they are trying to create through them, are not able to take on the fullbacks of Czechia. And that is the problem. And so if that is not happening, I think you can try using the middle lane to get something. I think they tried that. There was a chance, but unfortunately the player couldn't convert it. So yes, they are doing pretty well. I think if it continues like this, then the equalizer, we could get an equalizer before the first half ends. But so far so good for South Africa. I think the hydration break has had, a positive impact.
That's what I'm saying.
There is a momentum on their side at the moment.
You need Webus to pass the right message to them. And you see, what they are doing, if you watch their play very well, they are leading in terms of possession, but those possessions are being accrued in their half. They are not turning those possessions into dangerous attacks. And so far, no shot on target for them. That is very, very abysmal. And the Czechia have had 4 so far. How do you get goal if you're not getting the shots? And I think that it's not just about hogging possession, but it's about making sure those balls are on target. At least one of them will be able to be the Czech's goalkeeper.
Well, enough of the football. Let's look at the referee. The referee for today is Tori Penso, and she's the first American woman. In fact, she's a woman refereeing in a World Cup. She's the first American woman to referee a men's FIFA World Cup match, and the second in history after French Stéphanie Frappard became the first woman to referee a full men's World Cup game during the 2022 World Cup when Germany took on Costa Rica. And I think so far she's been very brilliant. She's been assertive. She's been dominant, made sure that she stood her ground in every decision she's taken. I don't think she has come wrong in any of the decisions so far.
Absolutely, not at all. I think that what FIFA is trying to do is to integrate some of these top female referees. To take charge of big games at the World Cup stage. And so far, like Frappa 2022, excellent game for her. And so far, look, the ladies are very, very cautious anytime they are the helm of the game. Not like the men who sometimes crosses their stage, so they don't feel the pressure. But if you're a lady and you have been given this great opportunity or honor, you want to make it count. You want to get the right message across to father. Hey, indeed, women can do what men can do in this instance, not every instance.
Well, Tori Pencil, 39 years, American. Her professional experience, she's been refereeing in the MLS, wow, in the NWSL, and she has refereed in the FIFA Women's World Cup as well. And now, historically, the first American woman to ref in the men's FIFA World Cup. Interesting, started refereeing at the age of 14, and she balanced officiating with corporate marketing career after graduating from the Florida State University. I'm sure this is an initiative that Ketiko will be happy. He's catch them young.
Oh yes,
refereeing, and I think for me that's the best ever policy I've ever seen from a Ghanaian politician or a Ghanaian football administrator, and I think that policy would yield the needed benefit in the next 4 to 5 years.
No, it's already
possibly.
It's already
We've seen a few, but I think on the global stage,
on the global
and
stage,
maybe on the African stage, I think from the next 5 to 10 years, we'll see a lot of African players now taking center stage. Well, referee Tori Pencil has given a yellow card to Teho Mokoena, who went into a toss of the ball with one of the Czech Republic players. Well, the big thing is Teho Mokoena, he got a yellow card in the first game against Mexico. He's got a second yellow card now, and he misses South Africa's next game against the almighty South Korea.
Yes, I mean it's a big blow for the Bafana.
So no Temba Zwane, no Sitole in the midfield, and now no Teho Mokoena for the final game against South Korea.
Yes, it very tells you that that would be a very depleted South African side in terms of their potency to attack and then cause some threats in the final third. And so, I mean, it's very unfortunate. You know, Kelly Yurinchi yesterday showed 20-year-old on a yellow card
in the very first early in the game, in the very first 20 minutes, he got a yellow card, but he was able to maintain his composure,
managed himself, and I mean it's paid off handsomely. And so yes, if you're a player, I think you have to bear in mind, I mean, some of these bookings and how you'll be able to hold up yourself. It's very unfortunate. Mokena, one of their best players, and then the other two players in addition. I think it will be a huge blow for them. That is why they need at least a draw in this game. At least, honestly, it's a must win. But from what you are saying, if they are not able to win and they get a draw, I think it's fair. South Korea, although they beat Czechia, probably you can go in and pull up a surprise. So you get some players.
I'm sure you are fancying South Africa getting a good result against South Korea if things go their way.
Maybe, but with the depleted, I doubt.
I'm thinking with Mokoena out now, their chances of making it past this group stage. It means that South Africa got to World Cup 4 times, and in all 4 outings, they've exited at the group stage.
Yes.
And you know what this yellow card does? What it does to Mokoena
is that now he cannot even go into a lot of the tackles anymore.
You understand? And I just want to. I don't know what we're running through the mind of Hugo Bruce and the technical team up now, because already you are missing experienced players. And that South Korea match is a big match if they fail to nest a point from this particular game. I don't know, but it looks like it's not their World Cup. It looks like. But again, I think the decision from Hugo Bruce, the kind of players he selected for this World Cup, clearly is having a toll on them as well, because these are players who are, most of them are inexperienced players, and do really miss Pesitao. He may not be the great guy he used to be, but I think that experience-wise, I think Pesitao and the rest would have, given a bit of threats to this Czechia side.
Well, a lot of tactical options and decisions that head coach Hugo Bruce would have to make. Let's give you a few details about Hugo Bruce. As I say, he's one of the few coaches who have played at the World Cup and now coach the team at the World Cup as well. And then remember that he's an AFCON winning coach. He coached Cameroon to win the AFCON at the AFCON 2017 competition. He was appointed for the South Africa job in 2021. I remember at the time he had promised that he was going to qualify South Africa to the World Cup. And in the 2022 edition, he failed to qualify at the expense of Ghana. Ghana beat South Africa in that all-important game where Andrea scored the winning penalty. And that's how come South Africa have a chance. Koliso Mudao against the goalkeeper, crossing the ball in. An interception And well, South Africa are trying to build up on the counter-attacking situation. They soaked out the pressure for a long time and then hit Czech Republic on the break.
Yes, you see.
And through Kolisa Mudau on the right wing, and that's what one beautiful thing about it. Ikram gave the ball to Mudau. Mudau took too many touches, and that's what affected him because he was almost on a 1v1 situation with the goalkeeper cover there. And I thought that if he had taken a shot himself, he could have stood a good chance of giving South Africa an equalizer. And South Africa this time take the ball shot again to Mukwena. Mukwena gives the ball back to Apolis. Apolis flexing across into the box. Well, and a player there attempted a scorpion kick, such an audacious move. Well, Patrick Schick attempts a counter situation. Patrick Schick against. Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I think the referee
should have given a foul, because I thought that there was an infringement on Patrick Schick. He was on the onslaught in a counter-attacking situation, but well, South African player had him down, and the referee says play on. Mudau gets the ball in South African opponent territory. The ball goes back all the way, and South Africa build back slowly again. Mokwena, he gives the ball back to Iken. Iken takes the ball all the way back, and South Africa taking the ball back into their own half, trying to draw out Czech Republic. We see at the moment that the two strikers for Czech Republic, Schick and Adam Przek, are way in the South African line, but the rest of the Czech Republic team are very deep. So it's not a low block though, but a lot of their midfielders and defenders are very disciplined, and they are resolute in ensuring that their defensive shape and line is in form, and so they are not playing to the tricks and the tactics of the South Africans. South Africa at the moment are trying to draw the Czech team, but the Czech are not budging. They will still keep their 1 goal difference. And well, there's a chance for
very lucky
there. Ron Williams gave the ball to Ingezile in Mbukazi, but Mbukazi under pressure, passing the ball back to Ron Williams. There was too much power on it, and Adam
the Benjamin Asari case against Mexico. that pass.
And Adam Hosek and Patrick Schick nearly latched onto the ball. Well, in the stance is former Liberian president and the only African player to have won the Ballon d'Or. Help me with his name.
That is George.
George Opon.
You know, he used to be at East Legon most of the time. I mean, he has a hideout here.
I think I interviewed him. I think either earlier this year or last year. He loves Ghana.
Yeah, he used to be around.
Until
he became president.
Even after being president, he lives in Ghana. I think a lot of Liberians love Ghana, and they spend their quality time here. Well, for Czech Republic, the big thing for today is that Thomas Suchek is not starting the game. He's on the bench, and he will be a valuable addition for them in the second half. And I'm sure the way their set pieces are going, their corners, he will be a very important addition for them when they start flicking their corners in. And there's a long ball, and Mbukazi gets the better of Patrick Schick, but Patrick Schick gets the ball back well. Czech Republic, Mbukazi has been very sloppy in this game. The referee, surprisingly, has allowed a lot of rash tackles to go on, but she finally stops the game. And Mbata, who has been, yes, exactly. He has been yellow colored now, but even surprisingly, not for the tackle, but for complaining.
And it's dangerous for South Africa. It means that their midfield trial of Mokwena and then Mbata, it is only Adams who has not been yellow colored yet. So it tells you that's a huge toll on South Africa at the moment. But I think that so far, Czechia is not playing anything exceptional, and I think that the South Africans need to take the game to them. I don't know if they didn't watch the Kivet game against Spain. Kivet, yes, they were very blunted up front, but at least we saw them take the game to Spain. We equally saw Cote d'Ivoire take the game to Ecuador. You understand? Yesterday we saw Ghana take the game to. I think that is what you have to do. Morocco took the game to Brazil. They don't need to sit on the tenterhoof. They need to take the game to Czechia and see if they can force them to commit 1 or 2 errors. But I think so far the side of Maseko at the right hand side have been very porous. He's not performing well. Reason why the South Africans are using the left flank most of the time. And I think that the right side, they need to make good use of the right side where Maseko is based.
Well, there was an infringement and a free kick for Czech Republic there. Behind the ball was Adam Przek, but he blasted the ball over the line. Well, who do you see in your shot there? That's Pavel Nedved, former Juventus midfielder, and the only Czech player, I think, or one of the few Czech players to have won the Ballon d'Or, a very important player there, and he was a key player for Czech Republic in 2006 when they were the second ranked team in the world in that group with Ghana and the USA
and we beat them,
Italy.
And we beat them by 2 goals to 0. And shockingly, so far, Ghana is the only side to have defeated Czech as far as the World Cup is
exactly.
concerned.
Well, Czech Republic after 2006 went on a long hiatus, 20 long years, and they are back. Players like Pavel Nedved, Peter Czech have all long retired and have taken executive positions at the various clubs. Peter Czech was initially in charge of technical direction and strategy at Chelsea. He's no longer there. Pavel Nedved also was taking some role at Juventus. I'm not too sure whether he's with that now. South Africa were trying to break into the Czech defense. A long cross from Aubrey Modiba. But at the end of the day, the referee says that Maseko was offside.
Yeah, and you can just see the expression on the faces of the South African fans. You know, I don't know. But you see, they are the 12 boys. They need to keep the guys going. This is not the time to sit, you know, in a seat at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and watch on. This is the time we need to hear them singing, dancing, and drumming, at least so that the players will know that there are some people behind them in the stadium. Because honestly, they have been outnumbered by the Czech fans in the stand. We need to hear the South Africans, you know, in the stand, at least to give the players some sort of encouragement.
And well, that's a conversation for another day. If you're going to talk about the number of African fans we've seen at the various stadiums, in almost every game we've seen at the World Cup, both South Africa and the onslaught, there's a chance. And well, there's been an interception by Ladislav Krejci. Ladislav Krejci is one of the most important players, or the high-profile players for the Czechia national team. He plays for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Unfortunately, his club has been relegated from the English Premier League, and so if he's not bought by another club, he will spend the part of next season in the EFL Championship. Krejci, very, very important player for them. He made his debut for Czech Republic in 2022. He has made 28 appearances, so this is 29th appearance as a defender. He has scored 6 goals, and surprisingly, he has the record of scoring the fastest ever goal for Czech Republic in any of their national team record. He has scored the fastest goal for them. So even though he is a centre back, he's got some good goal scoring instinct. But if you have played 29 games, you've scored 6 goals for a defender. And I'm sure it is most of them through his aerial abilities. I think that he's been very, very, very immense for them. He's one of the few top players who are playing for Czech Republic in Europe, as well as their goalkeeper Kova, who plays for PSV Eindhoven in the Netherlands, and then Jose, who plays for Germany, Hoffenheim in Germany, and Patrick Schick as well, who plays for Bayer Leverkusen in Germany. Well, we've seen South Africa. There's a long shot from Teboho Mokoena, but once again, way, way, way off target.
I mean, we saw it against Mexico. They, tried to use the same approach. But unfortunately, I don't know if, the training, they are not able to perfect it because they
play
keep...
in Africa.
Exactly.
But in Africa, balloon balls.
Yes, I think they've been doing it in training. And so once you are here, if you 3, you should get 1 on target. But here lies the case that the same thing. Mexico, they did same thing, and then here too. On the other side, I think South Africa have disciplinary issues. I don't know who go with the technical team, what they're doing about it. Against Mexico, it's one of the reasons that they lost that game. Unnecessary yellow cards. And you come into your second game, the mistakes that you did in your first game, you're not able to correct it. And it looks like psychologically, they are gradually losing the game. Because if you have your key players on a yellow, it slows them down in terms of going in for some tackles that could also result to dangerous attacks. And yeah, so far so good. I think the after the hydration break, the South Africans have really done well.
It's been a balanced game.
Yes, and the positive thing is that they've been able to move the ball into the final third. But as I said earlier, Czech have a lot of players in the box. From what I've seen, every time the ball gets there, you see about 6, partly 5 players in the box. So you on paper you see 5 midfielders, but when they are defending, most of them draw deep. And so that's something that has really helped them to prevent South Africa from equalizing. And I think it's good for them if they maintain it this way. And once again, their wings are not helping. They are not seeing anything. I think it was Maseko who was able to beat his marker, but unfortunately he wasn't able to create something. You need a creative winger. Spain came vet. We all saw how Spain struggled. When Lamine came on, we saw that they were able to double up and then curtail that threat from him. And so yes, they need creativity in the game. So if there are any player who could also help, I think Hugo Broos needs to reconsider his options.
And I think so far, great work from the two left back. That's Modiba and Tolisso Mudau.
Yeah.
Great stuff from them so far. They have really anchored South Africa's defense very, very well.
Yeah.
I think the poor side in this South African at the heart of defense has been Mbokazi.
Yeah.
Out
He's
so
been
many
very
teams.
reckless.
He's very reckless at the back, and I think that Maseku so far has flown into the game. And I keep saying that, look, Czech, they are not doing anything extraordinary in this game.
Yeah.
If South Africa want to get themselves back in this game, they need to do that. But I'm asking, where are they going to create those chances from? Because it looks again, the hog of possession they are playing it in their half, not in the final third of Czech.
Well, that's very interesting. Well, you spoke about the fact that South Africa has been blasting the ball, and you make the fact that you made a point to the fact that in the first game against Mexico, they blasted the ball and they didn't score. But this is the point. In the CAF Champions League final, Teboho Mokoena blasted a long range like this and he scored. So he's had a potential of doing that, but just like this, it's a risk. He will take 10 shots, two would enter, and the other 8 he would miss. But he's one who has that's his trademark goal. He usually scores long range goals. But at this tournament, just like how all things are not working for South Africa, for him as well, his long range shots are not.
Is it because of the stage? It looks like the inexperience.
We are missing the likes of Lodge.
Well, I think that he's a very experienced player because I think for a player who has played at the FIFA Club World Cup, he has played at the CAF Champions League, he has played at the AFCON. I think he has seen it all in terms of what professional football can offer him. I'm not sure if someone will be pressured by what football can offer. I don't think a player like Teboho Mokoena will be pressured because he's a very much experienced player. Won the Premiership with the Mamelodi Sundowns multiple times. He was from SuperSport United, moved to Sundowns a few years ago. Won the PSL title just twice. He has won. He won bronze with South Africa at the AFCON 2023 tournament for them. Very important player. Remember that free kick he scored against Morocco when they won by 2-0. So he's been at the big stages of football and he's started a few times. Well, we have Maseko on the ball. He's been the live wire for the South African team. Switches to the right hand side, which has Modiba flicks in the cross and unfortunately cover for the first time makes a shot. And well, Mbatha flew in the shot, but goalkeeper Kova was able to pull in a save. And for the first time, Czech Republic looked very shaky, but they're in the counter-attacking situation. And Adam Hložek has the ball. He tries to dribble, but he's been intercepted by Imo Ken, and Mbokazi has had the ball and he goes in for a goal kick for the Bafana of South Africa. But referee Tori Pennon says it's the end of the first 45 minutes. Czech Republic, after leading by in the 6th minute through Sadilek, end the first 45 minutes with still that long goal advantage. South Africa nearly equalized with it 30 seconds to the end of the first 45 minutes. By the end of the first 45 minutes here at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Czech Republic have taken the lead against South Africa. So South Africa, the second game, they are failing to win. And if they fail to win, it makes their job of trying to qualify to the next stage of the competition all the more difficult. Up next is the break. After 15 minutes, we are back for the second 45 minutes.
Thank you very much, Seth, for the first half commentary. And so it's the Bafana of South Africa 0, Czechia 1. And once again, the Bafana are struggling to penetrate the defense and then being able to make an impact. But whether they will be able to make adjustments and come back in the second half remains to be seen. At this juncture, we go for a quick break. When we return, and we go straight into the halftime analysis.
Bigo Cola is changing the game and giving away free cash. Introducing the Bigo Scan and Win promo. Your chance to enjoy great taste and win instant cash every day. Just buy a bottle of Bigo Cola. Locate the QR code on the label. Scan with your smartphone, watch the video ad, enter your details, and stand a chance to win instant cash. No waiting, no stress, just real rewards instantly. From everyday refreshment to unexpected rewards, Bigo Cola is more than a drink, it's an experience. So what are you waiting for? Grab your Bigo Cola today, scan the code, and win big.
Bigo, big on taste, refresh your vibes.
This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
This advert is FDA approved.
Every game starts with pressure. The pressure to move faster, push harder, go further. On the pitch, every second matters, every sprint, every tackle, every chance. The world watches, but pressure doesn't stop me. It drives me. Because energy changes everything. The energy to keep moving, the energy to keep fighting, the energy to rise when the moment gets bigger. From the training ground to the world stage, I bring everything I've got. I don't wait for the moment. I create it with the energy that keeps me rising. Rush Energy Drink. Be bold, be you.
Drink responsibly. Not recommended for persons below 18, pregnant women and lactating mothers. This advert is FDA approved.
Bigo Cola is changing the game and giving away free cash. Introducing the Bigo Scan and Win promo. Your chance to enjoy great taste and win instant cash every day. Just buy a bottle of Bigo Cola. Locate the QR code on the label. Scan with your smartphone, watch the video and enter your details and stand a chance to win instant cash. No waiting, no stress, just real rewards instantly. From everyday refreshment to unexpected rewards, Bigo Cola is more than a drink, it's an experience. So what are you waiting for? Grab your Bigo Cola today, scan the code and win big.
Bigo, big on taste, refresh your vibes.
This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
This advert.
Match ni na tournament ni na mbewi and then I will share ni.
Then I mean share
So
it doesn't give the parents that needed attention.
Okay, so football there, I can't say, I can't boom. It's definitely no.
Without they recognizing that they are
a modest spreading unity among ourselves, you know. And I say more na like unity no abe more
from where you mean the parents? Yes, the parents.
First of all, I don't come out to jump.
Not in 14, 12.
On your bedana say. Second, you na you John Dramani Mahama.
How would you take?
Oh, on boss upon your ma or your ma.
Especially with an irresponsible person.
And you and mom feel South Africa to
do. They will keep giving birth to irresponsible.
It was on Red Cup.
Brother,
me dia me share pass and you bet me say Ghana.
We need to look at the problem.
And no matter what you are there, budget.
Your top fan baby, dear now we're expecting a food.
Sir, Minya in Samboni bien film. Sir, direct for Tokwa, near the idea of the Abezu Shemuniano. Me per se, you Red Cup, now soon ye Ababoko, now other says Spain, Argentina, Bubako, at the Red Cup. Yet, Yanka Humbi.
Whole expectation for World Cup Nankasa Air
Spain. For me, I will go for Spain.
For the whole 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Say, me predictions then can be say, Yeni Abia Argentina and shower finals, and any Spain and shower finals. That's what I'm predicting for.
My expectation is to see South Africa win the cup and play a piano final nakupenda at the final. I want South Africa to win.
Because teams no be well prepared into no you say but Ghana everything akoya.
What are your expectations for the Morocco versus USA match?
Morocco versus USA me there Morocco be winning.
Okay, so what are expectations for the whole 2026 FIFA World Cup?
Okay, me a Ghanaian. I'm proud of my country, Ghana. Me feel say Ghana on winning match, first match, or winning first match, Maya. Me hope say cup already Ghana.
So what's your whole expectation for the 2026 FIFA World Cup?
My whole expectation, I hope Ronaldo to win the World Cup. That's my expectation for the World Cup, for Ronaldo to win the World Cup, is my biggest expectation.
So what's your whole expectation for the FIFA 2026?
My own expectation is I want to see a good football playing. The referee officiating should be well. And one thing I'm assured that all the teams, there are 48 teams, everyone went there to do well. So we want to see good officiation, good football. Then that's all what I can say. Yeah.
Thank you.
It matters a lot. We all want to see our, how do I call them?
That's break. Now we go straight into the halftime analysis. I have here Victor Kwao and then Eugene Soti, not Seth Soti, it's Eugene Soti. Victor, talk to me about the South African side. You know they started poorly, but they gradually settled into the game, and now they seem to be creating something. But it looks like in the final third, they are still missing the link.
Yeah, I think that in the first 45 minutes, honestly, if you ask me, I think the South Africans are leading in some of the parameters in terms of possession. They are leading the possession 63% compared to just 37 for Czechia in this particular game. You talk about the number of shots on target, it's been 5 apiece. But the big problem is that with all this spell of possession, they are not making good use of it. You understand? Czech with as little as 37%, they've been able to register some shots on target. They've been able to create some 2 big chances already. That should tell you that it is not about the loss of possession you have. It's about how you make use of the minimum that you get. And I think clearly that has been the difference between South Africa and Czechia in this particular game. But honestly, you asked me about the overall performance of the thing. I think it's far better than what we saw against them in Mexico. I think so far the 2 wing backs, that is Kulisu Mudau, has been very fantastic in this, as well as Modiba. I think that the ability to overlap and then retract back to help with defensive duties have been very spot on so far in the game. I think Mokoena and then Adams have also been very excellent, but I've not seen much from Adams because Hugo Bruce, ahead of this game, with the formation he played, 4-2-3-1, was to give him that free space to run around and ensure that he connects the ball to the likes of Reynes in this particular game. But I think that he will need to improve that aspect of his game in the second half. I also felt that they have not really gotten into the final third, especially inside the 18-yard of Czechia. It's been very porous, and I think that is what they need to do more. Get the ball into the penalty box of Czechia, because maybe, who knows, just one mistake and the ball will be at the back of the net. So I think that they are playing the ball around the Czechia's, territory, but it is not getting to where it needs to get to. That is inside the 18-yard. You compare that to Czechia. So far, excellent for them. They are struggling with possession. Clearly, that is not the kind of stuff they want to do in this particular game. But I can tell you confidently that the few moments they have gone into the final third of South Africa, they have been the deadliest. They have been able to get some balls inside South African box, and I think that is impressive. Second half, we want to see the likes of Patrick Schick step up their game, and then Hollister, because they've been very porous. In fact, they have been the weakest link in this Czechia side in the first 45 minutes, and you need the big guys to step up on the biggest stage when it matters most. But South Africa, I think the yellow cards have really dampened the spirit.
Yes, I wanted you to emphasize on that, how it's influenced their game, and then what you expect from the technical team in the second half.
Yeah, so what I expect from the technical team is just to tell the guys that, look, this is a make or break match. If you lose this game, it means that your chances of progressing to the round of 32 will become very slim for you, because don't forget that after the group stages, 8 good teams will be added to that ceiling of teams that will finish 1-2 in the various groups. So there's a great probability that they can qualify. But the only ticket to qualify is the fact that you need to amass a point. You need to win this game, especially for South Africa. They need to win. They need to win to prove to the entire world that, look, they have not settling for those narrations that the xenophobia, have psychologically affected them. But it has been huge. And I want the goalkeeper, Roy Williams, he's a great leader. I think this is the time we need to see him. Unfortunately, he is not an outfield player. He is between the two sticks. So sometimes the instruction to some of these guys is a bit limited. But again, he's a skipper. He can shout from the back end. He needs to shout on the likes of Mokena and then Kuliso Modal, who are infield players who are doing quite well to ensure that they get the ball to the needed space. Okay. And for Rennes, I can only say that he needs to bury the chances. But for Czechia, I think that they might score again in the second half. They might.
They might score. Let me come to you, Eugene. I mean, Czechia, so far so good. They've been very flamboyant in the game since the beginning. And then I think the last 15 minutes after the hydration break, that's when the momentum shifted to South Africa. What do you expect from them? Sheikh has been missing in the game.
Well, Sheikh usually would be missing for a lot of the time, and actually I worry for opponents when Sheikh is missing in the game, because what that means is that he becomes like a hungry lion or a lone wolf looking for a prey to devour. So he's always walking around, hovering and looking for that one chance, and when he gets it, he's unforgivable. He would make sure that he wreaks havoc. So I think that with someone like Sheikh, I'm not too worried. I want Klojek to rather be the one to be going to a lot of the physical duels. I want Klojek to be fighting for the ball and trying to feed it off to him. And the thing with Sheikh is that Sheikh pulls in a lot of players towards him because they realize that he's a very prolific striker. So if you realize, at most points of the game, I see Mbokazi and Ime Okon trying to tackle him. So I think that creates space for Klojek. So I think that Klojek rather needs to get a lot more rhythm into the game. And I think that South Africa, I think that Czechia will get the job done. I think that Darida also needs to help him out with that. And basically, I think that the Czech have been impressive. I think I'm expecting to see Thomas Schutek somewhere in the second half. I thought that they played a lot of corners, but they've not been effective with the corners. And I think that in the second half, we need to see Thomas Schutek in there. We've seen Thomas Schutek with West Ham and what he's able to do with set pieces. And I think that he'll be impressive if he joins the Czechia team. I think that they need to win this game to make it easier for them, because if they win this game tonight and possibly Mexico loses, they are almost now on the same point with Mexico. Yeah. And now it increases their chances of making it past the group stage, where they'll play their final game against Mexico.
Victor, quick, let me come to you briefly before we head to the commentary, as the second half is almost underway. Briefly, heading into the game, I mean, second half, underway, both sides are poised for victory, but what would you say that would be the masterstroke for any of these sides to secure the victory?
Yeah, I think there are few takeaways in the first half, and first takeaways are the early breakthrough. That is when you look at Czechia. I think that they have been sitting on the tentacles for majority of the first 45 minutes, but that early breakthrough, they are able to pounce on the advantage. And I think that is what you need to do as a team if you want to win the game. And you need South Africa to make good use of the chances they are creating.
What did you say?
You talk about tactical adjustment. I think that Coach Igobru shifted from that 3-5-2 to 4-3-3. But the issue is that, good news for them is that they are trying to use goalkeeper Ron Williams' long ball to break, into the half of Czechia. And I think that is very good, because the midfield battle has been very difficult for them. And Ron Williams has got a leg, so his kicks, is able to penetrate into the final third of Czechia, and I think it's been very, very, very great. I think in terms of possession and control, I think that largely Czech have been content sitting on the tentacles and allowing South Africa to play more, and they soak it. But the South African struggle is the fact that they are not making use of the chances in the final third.
They are not making use of the chance in the final third. Let's acknowledge our sponsors briefly before we head straight into the second half commentary. We have Rush Energy Drink, Ulas Enterprise, we have Just Chinese and Verna Mineral Water, we have DSTV, so much more. Official broadcaster of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, all 104 matches live on DSTV. You see, you have Malcolm, you have Bigo Cola, we have 369 Gym and Wellness Center, as well as Emmeline Logistics, your trusted paint and plaster board supplier. Eugene, you take over for the second half commentary.
Well, welcome back to the ever-imposing Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta for the second half of the game between Czechia and South Africa. Remember that this game officially means that the second round of matches for the ongoing 2026 FIFA World Cup is officially underway. 4 teams are in Group A: Mexico, South Africa, Czechia and South Korea. With this result currently as it is, it means that at the moment Mexico and South Korea on 3 points, and Czechia also on 3 points. Remember that Mexico and South Korea have an outstanding in which will be played later on, and that will determine how things go in this game. Well, both teams are back into the game, and South Africa have effected a change, and it's quite surprising who is out. Jaden Adams, who was the holding midfielder for one of the holding midfielders in the double pivot alongside Evo Mukwena, who actually hasn't had a yellow card, and is the only midfielder who has not been yellow carded, actually has been substituted for another South African player, Relebohile Mofoken, who is with Orlando Pirates. He's one of the young players who has been very excellent, very dynamic, one of the teenage players with a lot of potential. He's one of the players who a lot of fans were asking for from the first game against Mexico. Fans were asking for him to have started the game and gotten a lot of game time. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and now he's now making his World Cup debut. The Orlando Pirates player Relebohile Mafoken. Well, there's a chance for Czechia, but unfortunately, it was missed by Darida. And well, a brilliant save again by Ronwen Williams. South Africa went to sleep within the first minute and 30 seconds of the game across, and then a first interception by the double defenders, both defenders, Imohen and then Imbokazi went in for the first interception, and then a long-range effort from Sadilek, who in fact Sadilek scored the first goal. So Sadilek was actually looking for a double, a brilliant long-range shot which were accustomed from Tobeho Mokwena instead, and a brilliant save of Ron Williams. Williams reminded us that at the point was Africa's goalkeeper of the year, was Africa's interclub player of the year. It was one of Africa's only Ballon d'Or nominations apart from Morocco's Yashim Bono as well. So in terms of African goalkeeper, he's highly rated. Well, a chance for Czechia, and a crossing from Sufal, a header by Patrick Schick, and once again the ever brilliant goalkeeper Ron Williams does the save. Slowly, within the first 2 minutes of the game, Czechia are building up their momentum into the game. They are looking to get their second goal very early to cement their status and legacy in the game.
Yes, obviously, I mean, the first half too, we saw the same momentum in the first half, and then the second half too is the same. I don't know whether it's a problem of concentration, awareness on the half of the South Africans, because against Mexico, to poor starts when they are trying to build up from the back, they make some, mistakes, and that's cause the offensive threats, and they end up conceding. I think that does not augur well for them. They need to come together. They need to be soaking the pressure at this moment. You don't need Czech to get a second. Once they get the second, it becomes a tall ladder for you to climb. And so it's better for them to equalize. Once Czech gets the second goal, then a defeat is really well on the side of the South Africans.
Yeah, I was just speaking about the quality, and that's a lovely ball that was floated across, but unfortunately rose out beyond the byline. I was just talking about the first half take, and one of the things that was present is that Czechia knows how to make good use of early advantage, and we saw it so far in that 2 minutes or 5 minutes. They've been able to register 2 shots on target, and that is crazy. Like you rightly said, that South Africa, it looks like they struggle to begin games, and that's problematic, because if you're a team and you're like that, it means that your opponent, when you come up against top sides, they are going to punish you within the first 10 minutes, and we cannot have a country playing at the World Cup stage with this loose mindset in terms of attacking their opponent.
Well, there you have it. Thoughts of Victor and on the performance of the South African team at the moment. South Africa building up very slowly from Ronwen Williams to Imbokazi. Imbokazi heads the ball back to Aubrey Modiba. Modiba gives the ball back to Imbokazi. Imbokazi dribbles Patrick Schick, long one into the opponent half. Apolis gives the ball to, well, let's see. Interception by the Czechia team. But Czechia have been very resolute. At this point, it's almost like both teams are frantically looking for a goal. South Africa looking for their first goal, and for Czechia looking for their second goal. Well, Collision Mudau went into a collision with Hollis, and unfortunately, he's come out the worst. He is holding his ankle, clutching his ankle at the moment. And Hollis is feigning ignorance. He says he has nothing to do with that. It was a tussle for the ball. Let's look at it. And I'm sure if he's asking for a foul in the box, deep in the 18 yard of the Czechia team, then he's asking for a penalty.
Yeah.
And I'm sure once he gets the referee, once the game is slowed down, there's a possibility that VAR will do a review, and possibly there'll be a penalty call. But at the moment, it's looking very much less likely that that would happen.
Yes.
Because I think the referee had a good view of that, and I don't think there was much in it. Even though he felt some bit of contact, I don't think there was much in it to have warranted a corner. And there on the screen, we have Michael Sadilak, 27 years old, with Slavia Praga. In the Czech league, so he's a homegrown player, a local player for that matter. He made his debut for the Czechia team in 2021, and this is his 9th appearance for them. So he's made less than even 10 appearances, and this is his 2nd goal for them. Very important goal for him as well, and this would ensure that he cements his place in the team. And it looks like he's looking for a goal, because remember that a few minutes ago he gave in a very long shot which was almost goal bound until that brilliant save from goalkeeper Rowan Williams there. But still, we've seen South Africa frantically searching for their goal. We also seen the fact that now the Czechia team are also trying very hard to get their 2nd goal. We just saw Darida. This is his 2nd attempt in the last 5 minutes. He's also getting into the game. So now all the 3 attackers for Czechia are trying in very hard. Patrick Schick in the 2nd half got his chance. We also saw that Klocek, instead of helping his team offensively, actually made sure that his team did not concede a goal, preventing Koliso Mudau from effecting a very important cross, which would have gotten onto the hands of Ikram Reyners there. And we are now seeing that Darida, also very important player for Czech Republic, twice in this. There's a corner kick for Czechia. It came in, and unfortunately for the Hollis again, it doesn't end well. We saw a very important player for them, Ladislav Krejci, also in there. So actually it was Krejci who headed the ball. In fact, he got the better of all the South African defenders. He even beat the on-rushing Rowan Williams, but unfortunately it was just too high. And that should be a cause of concern for head coach Hugo Bruce, because South Africa have considered about 5 corner kicks so far, and in all the corner kicks, the approach, whether it's a man marking or zonal marking, has been poor. And at the moment, if Czechia bring on Tomas Souček, and with Ladislav Krejci already in there, Adam Hlojek in there, and the fact that they already have Patrick Schick in there, I'm sure that Czechia will get either their 2nd or 3rd goal from the corner. So that's a cause of concern that Hugo Bruce will need to work on, whether zonal or man marking. He needs to work on handling his set pieces very well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I just love what the Czechia guys are trying to do at the moment. Great stuff from them. I think the front 3 is now best into life. The likes of Patrick Schick, but I mean, there's a sweet build up here inside.
Yeah,
I mean,
so Mokwena in there, he gives the ball to Mafogen. Well, Maseko has been the live wire for them, and in fact, we've seen less job. We've not seen Apollos being very effective from the left hand side, and a lot of the attacking onslaught of the South African team has been from the right hand side with Maseko and Mudau there.
I think Maseko has been lively in this second half.
Very much.
But
lively.
in the first half, I think that the live wire was rather from the left hand side where Apollos has been, but he's been quiet in the second half. But I think that the new guy just came in. Is it Mufo?
Mufogen,
yeah, I think great introduction by Hugo Bruce, one of the players who have been very electile for Orlando Pirates this particular season. 18 goal contribution, 10 goals, 8 assists. I think that these are the kind of players they need at this juncture to come in to see if they can change the complexity of the game. But Krejci, I think that great player, chasing record of trying to be the 3rd or no, the 4th. Czech player to get 2nd goal, consecutive goal after the likes of Michael Belech and then Ladislav, the senior Ladislav, who did that in 1970. So I think that great stuff from Czechia, but the way South Africa is playing, they might get a goal, but they'll concede a goal.
Yeah, well, it's been a cagey game at the moment. Both teams are opening up. In the beginning, South Africa were cagey in the first half, but at this point, they've realized that they have nothing to lose, and so they've made one change, and when they brought in Mafoken into the game. And well, let's see whether that is the needed result. We've got Aubrey Modiba. He hands the ball to Apollos. So this is almost the first time in the second half that South Africa are attacking from the left-hand side, effecting a cross. And unfortunately, Poliso Mudao as well as Maseko are nowhere to be found. And that cross was from Orlando Pirates' Talente Mbata, who is making his 11th appearance today. He scored 3 goals, and he was a member of the AFCON 2025 squad that played earlier in January, where they reached the quarter-finals, where they lost to Cameroon there.
And you saw how everybody was mad about that decision.
Yeah.
I mean, you are trailing by a goal to know. How do you blast in a ball like that? You've got other options. Players are close to you. Bend the ball to them, but you decide to go long and it loses everybody. Even Coach Hugo Bruce don't know what to do at this point. He heads straight for the bench.
Well, Czech Republic have made 2 changes. So South Africa made 1 change. Jaden Adams was replaced by Mafoken. Czechia have done 2 changes. Well, before we tell you about the changes, Czechia looked like they were about to score through Patrick Schick, but that attack has been foiled, and it's now in the hands of South Africa. They were building an attack, but the resolute Ladislav Krejci in there to prevent South Africa. Well, Ladislav Krejci, very interesting player. Wolverhampton Wanderers this season, played almost every game for Wolverhampton Wanderers in the English Premier League. Fortunately, they were relegated. But if he has a very good World Cup, we know the World Cup has been an opportunity, an avenue for players to get better deals. And so if you are in the championship and you perform very well at the World Cup, I'm sure after the World Cup, he could get a move either to the Premier League or to the La Liga or to the Bundesliga. And the Bundesliga has been a very safe space for Czechia talents. Alex Carr is another player who he's not in this team today, maybe possibly through injury or lack of form. But he's also a player who has been in the Bundesliga. Then we have Adam Schleck, Hlozek, and then as well as Patrick Schick. And even Vladimir Sufa, after leaving West Ham, also has ended up in the Bundesliga as well. So possibly we could see Ladislav Krejci also possibly end up in the Bundesliga after the World Cup.
And you know he's on loan from Girona.
Yeah. So possibly, well, maybe he could return to his parent club Girona, or he could still.
I'm sure he's going to get a good deal.
A good deal after the World Cup to see him. I think he's a solid player, very good player, physical. He's very athletic with his height, good in aerial duels. And I think there's a Czechia player writhing in pain at the moment, and that is Chevy, who is a midfielder for the Czechia team. He's Lucas Chev. He's with Victoria Pleasant. So he's a teammate of Ghana's striker in Prince Edu Kwabena, who was very instrumental yesterday in Ghana's Ghana's important victory over Ghana's important victory over at the point when he came into the game. Ghana was drawing. But he played a crucial role in that all-important lone hard-fought victory, 90+5 against Panama. So Lucas Chev is a teammate of Prince Edu Kwabena, who plays for Victoria Pleasant there, and I'm sure very soon we'll see them in Europe as well. We've seen them. Well, Czechia again. They have a chance. What happens? Oh, and a crucial interception by Mbata there. And there's been and I'm sure it's a goal kick for Czech Republic. I'll get you the names of the players who have gone off the pitch. Darida, who looked like a live wire in the first 5 minutes of the second half, has been replaced. He has been replaced, as well as Alejandra Shoichka, who provided the assist for Michael Sadile's goal, has also been replaced. So on comes Zeleny, Yaroslav Zeleny, who plays for AC Sparta Praha, which is different from Sparta Praha we know. So as well as Soch, Pavel Soch, who plays for Olympic Lyon in the French Ligue 1. So he's a teammate of Enes Niama as well in there. And I think that for Pavel Soch, he's a relatively young player, 25 years old, and also one of the few players who play abroad for a club like for a country like Czech Republic. They are just like South Africa. A lot of their players are actually local players, and sometimes that tells you about how potent or how competitive their local league is. I think in the starting 11 of the South Africans, I think most of them are in fact, everybody here is a foreign player.
Yeah.
And with this Czech team, I think Patrick Schick is a foreign player, Rodgers is a foreign player, Krejci is a foreign player, and Hranat is a foreign player, Kovac is a foreign player. So I think with the Czechia team, half of the players are foreign players, and the other half are also local players. But this tells you how potent, how competitive this Czechia and South Africa have made their leagues so much so that these players can still stay in their various countries and still become very good players.
Yeah. So that clearly tells you that when that happens, you see that when they meet at the national team level, they already know themselves, and so the chemistry and the cohesion exists for them to play and then excel very well. So far so good. I think since the second half began, it's being an affair where both sides are taking the game to each other and just to ensure that they get a goal. It looks like any of them could get a goal at any moment. And when that happens, it changes the dynamics of the game. And then, it still seems fine. South Africa, when it gets into the final third, they struggle to, find the right passes. They struggle to, locate their key men in attack. And Reyners, I think he's virtually lost in the game, and I don't blame him because the wingers or the attackers who are supposed to feed him are not feeding him. They themselves are struggling to take on their markers, and so that is the problem. I've not seen much changes from Hugo Broos' side in terms of the attack. I think they need to locate their key man up front more, and that will help them in their quest to get the equalizer at this stage. The Czechians are not giving up. They are also, trying and attacking relentlessly. So if they get the second, they know that, yes, this is the assurance goal, that we can, come back to defend and then attack when necessary. And so at this stage in the game, the stakes are high for both sides, and so they are all pushing for the, either the equalizer or an addition to the goal. But any of them, can score at this moment with their performance they are.
Well, interesting. Let's look at the bench of the South Africans. There's Matuludi on the bench. There's Indamane. There's Moremi, who is a striker who could we could see him very soon. Then there's also Lau Foster as well. There's Chinese. There's Evidence Magopa, who surprisingly is surplus to requirements in both games. Then there's Gos. There's Makayana. There's Sebelebele. And then there's Cross. Sometimes these South African names are a mouthful. And then for Czech,
even the sit is Sitole.
Yes, their names are quite a mouthful for us who are from West Africa. Then there's for Czechia, there's Zima, there's Chalupek, there's Kutka, there's Chaitel, there's Stanek, there's Provod, there's Story, there's Dudera, there's Thomas Suchek, there's Horniak, and there's Soturek, and then there's Wyszynski as well there. Well, another thing for me that we need to look at is the fact that throughout this game, we've not seen a lot of attention or a lot of focus on the Czech Republic goalkeeper, probably because the South Africans have not been too offensive or too potent in their offense, and so we've not seen a lot for him. But Czech Republic's goalkeeper is Matej Kovar. He is now the goalkeeper of PSV Eindhoven in the Dutch Eredivisie. And there's an infringement again. Adam Hosek went into the 1-1 against Koliso Mudau, and now Mudau is clutching his knee. It's not looking good for South Africa. If Mudau is clutching his knee, Mokoena is out suspended for the next game. At the moment, Tembason is also not playing. Well, I'm sure for South Africans, they'll hope and pray this is just a scare.
Yeah, well, that's very
So
painful.
it was a follow-through. They went into a physical duel. When Koliso Mudau was falling off, then maybe Closet accidentally stepped on the knee of Koliso Mudau, and with this stats, it makes it quite painful for him. I'm sure he will need to seek medical attention there. I was speaking about Matej Kovar. Matej Kovar is the goalkeeper of the Czech national team there, and Kovar is a goalkeeper also for PSV Eindhoven. PSV Eindhoven just won the Dutch title. In the Eredivisie title there, and also he was a teammate of Patrick Schick as well when he was at Bayer Leverkusen. So he was there when they won the double, when they went unbeaten, won the Bundesliga title and won the DFB Pokal in 2023 there. and he left. He's now with PSV Eindhoven, a very good goalkeeper. Initially, he was actually a Manchester United player, but unfortunately, he never ever got to make an appearance for the club, and so he had to find his way around, and he's now here. But also,
and interestingly, you know what? In talking about a goalkeeper, how do you expect him to make saves when there's no direct ball on him?
Exactly.
First half, 5 shots for South Africa, none was on target. Second half, 3 for them, none on target. He's having a holiday.
Yeah, he's probably on vacation at the moment.
You know.
And I spoke about Thomas Souček. Thomas Souček is now being lined up for a change at the moment. Czech Republic are about to make 2 changes. Thomas Souček will be coming on for the goal scorer, Michael Sadilek. Well, South Africa also make a change. Ikram Reyners, according to head coach Hugo Bruce, his time is up. He's not been able to impress because he lacked service, and it's now time for Evidence Magopa to also prove his worth. So Evidence Magopa now replaces Ikram Reyners as the number 9. So this is the 3rd number 9 South Africa are using in 2 games. Lau Foster started the 1st game, and now Ikram Reyners started the 2nd game, and then now thirdly, Evidence Magopa makes it. Then for Czech Republic, Hlodek has been replaced by I'll get the name of the player for you. Hlodek has been replaced. Thomas Souček also replaces the goal scorer Michael Sadilek, who scored the brilliant goal for Czech Republic within the 6th minute. Has been replaced by Thomas Souček, as well as Adam Hlodek. I'm sure because of the various tackles he's going in, I'm sure at the moment the coach is very careful so as not to for him not to be given a card, because I'm sure that tackle he went in onto the knee of Poliso Modal could have been checked, and possibly he could have been given a card, or it could have been looked at for violent conduct. So based on that, he's been changed. Was set piece action for South Africa for Czech Republic, but luckily it has been cleared out, and the ball goes all the way to goalkeeper Matek Kova, who plays for PSV Eindhoven in the Dutch Eredivisie and is the number 1 at the moment for the Czechia national team.
Well, the last time Evidence Magopa scored was against Stellenbosch. 4, 5, 6 games away.
Yeah.
Now, I think the paradox of this South African team is very, very simple, and I think that they lack quality. They lack quality at this stage, and this is the irony. The irony is that in the South African PSL, because they have import of other players, so
Malawians,
Nigerians, you understand,
Zambians, Zimbabweans,
even Brazilians at some point, and even players from Uruguay, and because of that reason, there's quality in the PSL. But when it comes to the South African national team, it looks like it's just a handful. They lack quality. Reason why the likes of Kuliso Muda will play very well for Mamelodi Sundowns, but in the national team, because the kind of players that surround them are not really at the level of Mamelodi Sundowns players, you see him struggling. And Ron Williams himself, I'm sure in Mamelodi Sundowns, the back line would have shielded him a bit, but in this particular South African Bafana team, I think that he's been exposed so many occasions, but even not to concede more so far, I think that he's done excellently well for himself and for his country. But it looks like it is what it is. South Africa, they might be coming back, as they used to say.
Well, I'm sure the time is up for the hydration break again, and so, well, that's another conversation we need to have about the importance of hydration breaks and whether the hydration breaks are actually for footballers to rest and rejuvenate and get the energy back, or it's actually for sponsors to be able to get their messages across, especially on TV. And that's something a lot of players have been asked questions about. Virgil van Dijk, who is the skipper for the Dutch national team, complained about that. Other players, I think Antoine Semenyo, others have complained about that. I think Bukayo Saka, when he was in the pre-match press conference against Croatia, actually expertly avoided that question because he thought it was quite controversial. Victor, what's your take on that? This match is not too sunny in Atlanta. So do you think there's a need for hydration break?
Well, I think it depends. I think the issue is that when you look at the temperature, you know, from the experience of the Club World Cup, we know how hot it is. And I'm just trying to check the climate around Atlanta, and it's very, very hot. Very, very hot, around I think they are giving me somewhere around 77 degrees. So it also it's a very hot weather around the stadium. Whether it is for advertisers to be marketed or not, I think that the players are hydrated. There are lots of running, and if the Club World Cup is something to go by, we know how hot it is for some of these players to the extent that during the Club World Cup we would have to, temporarily hold hot setting games for we to get the best weather before we go in. So I think FIFA will be the best to explain. The only reason why people complain about this hydration break is that sometimes it takes the quality out of play, because like yesterday's Ghana game, we saw the Blasters on the right foot at where they are trying to pick their pick. Then there's that hydration break. They get back after the hydration break and realize that the pick have just dwindled. So that is a problem with this hydration break. But if it is genuinely, to get the players to be rejuvenated, have some drink and have some chit chat, I think it's important. But don't forget that the players are also making use of that, because it is in these hydration breaks we see the coaches also issue certain instructions that ordinarily wouldn't have gotten directly to the player. So I mean, there's positives and there are negatives. However, wherever you want to zone it, it's left for you.
Well, so 71 minutes gone. South Africa have made 2 changes. Reines Ikran has been replaced by Evidence Magopa, as well as Adams be replaced by Mafoken. The Czech Republic have made 4 changes. Pavel Such, who plays for Olympic Lyon, Jaroslav Zeleny, who also has been brought in. Then there's Lucas Provod, who plays for Slavia Prague as well, another local player, 38 years, 38 appearances for Czech Republic. He scored 3 goals, made his debut since 2020, as well as Thomas Souček with West Ham, who will be looking, another player who has been relegated and will be looking for a move away, and will be using this World Cup with Czech Republic as an avenue for him to get a better club at the moment. Thomas Souček is another player who has been introduced by the Czechia team there, and Czechia's team is being led by Miroslav Kubek. He's the second oldest manager at this year's World Cup. In fact, he's only younger than Curaçao's head coach Dick Advocat, who led their team against Germany, where they conceded 7-1 in their Group E opening game there. So Miroslav Kubek, he's a Czech national. He started coaching in 1983. He has largely coached clubs. His only national team experience was coaching Czech Republic's under-19 team between 2013 and 2014 there. And well, let's see whether he's able to help Czech Republic to the next stage of the competition. It's been a while. It's been 20 years. So at least Miroslav Kubek has made sure that after 20 years of missing the World Cup, Czech Republic are back on the world stage to compete. They are now leading South Africa by a lone goal. South Africa nearly had the chance to score. Modiba had the chance. He crossed the ball, but it was swiftly intercepted by Kratky, and then it was especially worked on. Teboho Mokoena crosses the ball into Evidence Magopa, but unfortunately, it was asking too much of Evidence Magopa, and Evidence Magopa headed the ball, but it was too feeble to worry goalkeeper Madek over there.
Yeah, again, the body balance, I mean, not aiding at the moment. His positioning not the best, but I think it was a great idea to send that ball diagonally into the penalty area. If they keep on sending such balls into the Czech penalty area, I think that one of them, I'm just hopeful that one of them will fall to the ground scrappy and then they just pounce on it.
Well, Thomas Souček, who is a Western player, formerly of who were just relegated from the Premier League to the Championship, he has been very instrumental since coming on. He's tried to slow the game and dictate the pace. He's been fouled. I think for Czech Republic, if the way things are going, I think they'll need to get a second goal very soon in order to make sure that South Africa don't equalize and then for their effort. Because if South Africa equalize, it means that their work is going to be cut out for them. It's going to be very difficult for them if they are going to be playing their last game against host nation Mexico. It's going to be very difficult for them. And well, Vladimir Supo had a chance and he missed it. Apollos gives the ball to Teboho Mokoena. Mokoena gives the ball to Maseko. Now Maseko has Modao beside him, and it's been a foul by Ladislav Kretschky, and he's been brandished a yellow card by referee Tony Brennan.
Yeah, that's quite a very silly play again from the Czechia's captain. He could have done
and
better.
I think now he's wearing the armband.
Yeah.
So he's now the skipper for the Knights. Ladislav Krejci, Wolverhampton Wanderers player, very brilliant player. Also, his club has been relegated to the EFL Championship. He's also one of those players who will be losing this opportunity to be auditioning for bigger clubs and looking for opportunities. And I was speaking about the fact that the Bundesliga has been a safe space for a lot of the Czech players. It turns out that even Vladimir Sufa, after leaving West Ham, has also found a home in Hoffenheim. So he's a teammate of Klocek. So Klocek is his teammate at clubs and his teammate at national team as well. Patrick Schick also, remember, he's also with Bayer Leverkusen as well. There's Hranak also with Hoffenheim as well. So 3 Czech players at Hoffenheim there. Well, Modiba has a long shot and unfortunately it's been intercepted and the ball goes all the way back. And I think Poliso Moda was arguing that the ball is too soft and so the ball needs to be changed. And so the ball is changed and the play will be restored shortly. But clearly at the moment you can see that South Africa have realized that it's a do or die affair at this moment. It's a make or break time. They need to get the job done. They need to at least, in order to ensure that their chances of making it past the group stage for the first time is realistic, they need to at least, first of all, equalize and then find a way of getting another goal. If you're able to equalize tonight, then it means that it makes their job easier against their next opponents in South Korea. South Korea will be playing against Mexico maybe in a few hours' time, and that will also determine how the general outlook of the group. But Mexico and South Africa at the moment, Mexico leading in the group by 3 points. South Korea also leading 3 points. At the moment, Czech Republic also now have 3 points, and South Africa after 2 games at the moment with 0 points and have conceded 3 goals.
So you made mention of the fact that the South Africans are trying as much as possible to get the equalizer. You could see that now they've opened up the game more. They've thrown more men up front. As you said, they are going all out for the equalizer, because if you don't get it, it makes your chance of qualification quite slim, and so it's all out to play for at the moment. But the problem is, if you knew this, why didn't you start it from the onset?
That's a challenge.
Yes, you are heading towards the dying embers of the game, and you are now trying to attack and then pull some threats. But you knew all this, and then you were trying to be compact. Build up from the defensive play, then you try to attack. There were not enough men in the final third in the first half, and even earlier in the second half. It's now that Hugo Bruce has decided to push his men forward to try and get the equalizer. I hope they do, but from the look of things, it looks like it will be very, very, very difficult for this Czechia side to concede, because they are very resilient. Krejci, as you said, he's been absolutely brilliant in the defense, and so that has helped them to solidify the back, and so they are still finding it difficult to get into the defensive line of Czechia. But yes, I said, as I said earlier, goal could come from any of the sides.
Well, Apolis has a chance, and once again, Ladislav Krejci backing others at his teammates disappointed them, because South Africa took a set piece very shortly and very fast, and they nearly equalized there. But Czech Republic have made another change. Lukas Chev, who is a teammate of Prince Edu Kabna at Victoria Plzeň, has been replaced by David Zima, who plays for Slavia Prague. So Slavia Prague also has a sizable number of players in the Czech Republic national team. David Zima also a defender. So the Czech Republic are making defensive reinforcement at the moment, because they've realized where we are 79 minutes are gone, just about 11 minutes to the end of regular time, and then I'm sure, because there were minimal interventions, I'm sure at most there will be 5 minutes added on. And at the moment, Czechia realized that it's a do or die affair. They need to consolidate their win. If they don't add a goal, they need to at least protect that. So they've brought in David Zima at this point to help. Let's see how that introduction helps them. Remember that Thomas Suchek also has been in to kind of stifle the South Africa in midfield, because at the moment, it looks like South Africa are now controlling. We are now playing the game in the half of the Czechia team of the Czechia team at the moment. South Africa are the ones pressing. Now Police Muda has the ball, gives the ball the way back to Imo, who's the defender. Remember, Imo Okon is the one I said he has a Nigerian father and a South African mother. And it's interesting at this point where Nigeria and South Africa have loggerheads, and such a player is in the team. And obviously the political figures within the country who are anti-immigration are calling for its exclusion from the team. But it's very important for them. In fact, in terms of the centre backs at the moment, he's had a very good season or a very good tournament than Mbokazi, who has been the more experienced and who is the 100% South African at the moment. Well, Mbokazi has the ball, gives the ball to Apolis. Apolis is looking for, he takes the ball back to Teboho Mokoena. Mokoena gives the ball to Maseko. Maseko now has a Czechian player. He has to dribble, he tries to cut in, he crosses it. Well, there's a challenge, there's a penalty. There's a penalty for South Africa because when Maseko tried to cut in and shoot, it hit the hand of Pavel Soch, who is a player who was just introduced about 10 minutes ago, the Olympic Lyon player, 25 years old, who is making, I think, about his third appearance for the Czechian national team. Unfortunately, out of nothing, Maseko crosses the ball in, attempting to cut in and shoot. It hits the arm of Pavel Soch, and it might be a penalty. I'm sure VR, obviously, unfortunately, and it's unfortunate. And the unfortunate about football is that football doesn't look at intention; it looks at the outcome of events. So, and at the moment, Hugo Bruce is very much happy. He does the fist pump. It means that he knows that this is a very important opportunity for them. And I'm sure for Miroslav Kubek at this point, he'll be very much unhappy because this throws his whole tactical plan into disarray. Because at the moment, now it's in the hands of South Africa. And I think the referee has agreed it's a penalty. At the moment, I think Teboho Mokoena is behind the ball. Teboho Mokoena faces off against Matej Kova, the PSV Eindhoven goalkeeper. A lot of Czech Republic fans are unhappy, up in arms and apprehensive at the moment, nervous. Teboho Mokoena, I think, is a very good penalty taker against Matej Kova. Matej Kova is a 6-foot goalkeeper, very tall. Yesterday, when England took on Croatia, Dominik Livakovic, also a very good goalkeeper, actually made saved Hurricanes' first penalty, and it turns out that both legs were over the line and the penalty had to be retaken. I'm sure that's what Matej Kova also be looking at the moment. So Teboho Mokoena behind the ball for South Africa is a penalty. Well, he breathes in, he takes a few steps. Let's see what happens. Teboho Mokoena, 1, 2, 3, he takes a shot. Once a goal, South Africa have equalized. Teboho Mokoena, the Mamelodi Sundowns player, officially has scored South Africa's first goal at the World Cup since 2010.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice job from South Africa. And I said it that, I mean, with the way the Czechia was playing, there was no way South Africa wasn't going to get a goal in this game. The big question was, are they capable of winning the game? But in terms of conceding, you scan the statistics book ahead of the game, will tell you that Czechia is found of conceding goals. Their defensive line have been very porous. And I think that, look, what South Africa has failed to do all day long in this game is the fact that they were not getting more balls into the final third or into the penalty area of Czechia. I mean, the clear one they've tried to do from Maseko so far have yielded that penalty. That is to tell you that if they were a bit consistent right from the first half into getting balls into Czechia's penalty area, like I keep saying, maybe just one of them will be a bit scrappy and will end at the back of the net. I think that is a case that we've seen. This is not from an open play, is from the penalty spot. And I hope it's just 7 minutes left if they can build on it and see if they can win it.
Yeah. It means that it makes the job all the more difficult for Czech Republic, because at the moment Czech Republic, their next game will be against host nation Mexico, and for South Africa, their final game of the group stage will be against South Korea. Both teams will at this point be looking for the all-important win. So it looks like we are back to where we began at the blast of the whistle. Both teams have now scored, and it's a draw. Now it's a scoring draw. Tomas Suchek trying to build an attack. He gave the ball to Lucas Provod. Unfortunately, he lost the ball. Tomas Suchek is absolutely livid because at the moment, the momentum that the Czech Republic players had has been lost, and South Africa are now gaining momentum. South Africans in the stadium are absolutely happy, beyond joy. It looked like all hope was lost, but Teboho Mokoena has restored that hope for them at the moment, and I'm sure at the moment they'll be pushing to try and get goal. South Africa have made one more change. Sebelebele has come in. We would find out which player he replaces at the moment. But that change was about to be effected just before the penalty. And so that change has been made. But we'll see who Sebelebele replaces at the moment. South Africa at the moment. Apollos crosses in the ball. Evidence Magopa nowhere to be found. Apollos gets the ball. And, well, let's see. Czech Republic have the chance for a counter-attack situation, but they lose that. It can't give the ball to Mbukazi. Mbukazi is looking for, well, instead of going sideways, he gives the ball back to his teammates. Now it goes all the way to Koliso Modo on the left wing. He gives the ball to Evidence Magopa. He tries to beat his marker. In the attempt to pass the ball to Koliso Modao, he loses it, and it's now a throw-in for Czechia.
And you can see the sea of yellow, and you know, with their facial expression just tells you that. I mean, it's not a kind of result they have been anticipating in this game, but great stuff from South Africa. I think that they should have started with this energy. They should have stepped their foot on the pedal right from the blast of the whistle, especially in the first half. But unfortunately, they left it so late. But well, from yesterday's Ghana's incident, we think that until the final whistle is blown, you cannot, you know, count out your opponent. So South Africa are still in this game.
So the player who was replaced was actually the one who caused the penalty. Tapelo Maseko has been replaced by Sebelebele. Now Tapelo Maseko is he plays for AEL Lima, so he's one of the few foreign-based players in the South African national team there. And I think that he's been very, very important for them. He's been the live wire for them throughout the game. He was the one who created a lot of the chances in the first half. And finally, his efforts yielded the immediate result by getting the penalty, which Teboho Mokoena especially converted. Now, Czech Republic are on the onslaught trying to find a winning goal at the moment. But South Africa seems to be resolute. Czech Republic have a big chance, a crossing, and a very brilliant interception by Mbukazi, and also a long-range shot away from the post by Teboho Mokoena. Evidence Magopa trying very hard to build an attack. He gives the ball back to Teboho Mokoena. Mokoena takes the ball all the way back to goalkeeper Ron Williams. And South Africa are trying to slowly build out the attack. At this moment, it's unclear what South Africa's plan is. Whether they are trying to slow down the game and try and get the 1 point and fight for their final game against South Korea, or they're trying to open the game up and play and try and go in for the final winner. At this point, both teams are going in for the winner. And what might happen is that one team might be caught on the counter, and that might result in a goal. So this game is not over. One more team thinks that there will be one more goal, and each team is huffing and puffing. We see Patrick Schick still in the mix. He's not had a lot of touches in the second half. He was a potent threat in the first 5 minutes of the second half, but since then he's been very much quiet. Teboho Mokoena cross into the box, but Thomas Suchek with his high cross makes it. Well, there's a cross again, and a brilliant save by Matet Kova. So for the first time in the game, now Matet Kova has been called into action by Mafoken as well. Very brilliant player, young, bright spot for the South African national team. In fact, if you ask South African fans who they think is the next big thing for them, they think Mafoken is that player, a player for Orlando Pirates. In there, they won the PSL title this season. The Mamelodi Sundowns and well, there's a chance for Czechia, but Patrick Schick is lying and writhing in pain. It looks like in the build-up to the counter-attack situation, there was a contact to his eye. He seems to be writhing in pain. He's holding his eye, but the referee doesn't look at him, and the game still continues. And I think that slowly, South Africa are building in the attack at the moment. And I was making the point that at the moment, Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns, they shared the trophy. So Sundowns won the CAF Champions League, and Orlando Pirates ended up winning their PSL title for the first time in a long while.
Yeah, and I think that so far, if you watch this game carefully, 8 to 9 minutes, I think the introduction of Evidence Magopa has been very important. And then Mafoken, great stuff from them.
So why didn't this coach play these players from the onset?
That is the problem. What Reynes was not doing by running into those channels, being available inside Czechia's penalty area to receive those balls. I think Evidence Magopa is running into those channels, forcing. So once he runs into you, you'll be forced to play the ball to him. I think that is what is clearly doing at the moment.
Well, there was a corner kick affected by Vladimir Sufa, and the big threat was Thomas Suchek, but it's been clearly thrown out. Well, there's another chance for a crossing. Let's see, a cross into the box. Well, oh, unfortunately for Krejci, instead of heading the ball towards the post of South Africa, headed the ball away. Souček has the ball. He gives the ball again to Pavel Souč, who unfortunately it was through his handball that South Africa got the chance. It's been a horror show for him. You come into the game. Well, 7 minutes of added time is 90 minutes of regular action is over. It's now 7 minutes of added time. We are into the first minute. And at the moment, it's looking good for South Africa at the moment. There's been a set piece again for Czechia. And once again, Hoffenheim's Vladimir Sufa is behind the ball for Czechia. In the box as well, Patrick Schick, a very potent threat in aerial duels. Thomas Souček, we know him from his time at West Ham as well, very potent there. And Ladislav Krejci, who's also with Wolverhampton Wanderers, also a very potent threat as well there. Across into the box, Souček heads it, but unfortunately, let's see what Souček does again. He tries to cross it, but the referee says it is an offside.
The Czechs are, trying to get the winner. We said it that with the kind of momentum the South Africans started in the second half, if they are not careful, they could get the equalizer, and that is what has happened. Yes, it's very unfortunate for them, because I could tell that the players, if you look at their facial expressions, it looked like they felt they had won it. They felt they had won it, and then it's unfortunate that that handball incident there, and then Mukena, you talked to us about his experience that he's garnered over the years across the African continent and then various international competitions. And once again, it came to play to send the goalkeeper the wrong way. The tension and everything surrounding the game, it's clearly tells you that he's that experienced player that you could rely on when it matters most. And so both sides are pushing for the winner. And as they are playing, and as I said earlier, any of them could get the winner.
Yeah. South Africa again are trying to build the attack. Patrick Schick attempts a counter-attack situation. Well,
you know the problem I have with these South Africans? I don't know whether they lose focus. Anytime they lose out on the ball, I don't know whether they are waiting for the referee pencil to blow the whistle, even on 2 occasions.
Well, a chance for Czech Republic, but unfortunately for them, I think that Mbokazi up to the task, and Lucas Provod unfortunately couldn't get the ball. But South Africa are under pressure at the moment. South Africa are highly under pressure at the moment. I think that Czech Republic have not lost hope. I saw Miroslav Kubek, who is the coach of Czechia, pointing to the head and asking the players to be straight on and be focused and let their mentality be up and high.
I told them to use their head when it was around 60th minute. At this point, it looks like it's getting too late. But I love the fact that South Africa has been able to get a goal in this game, and it is no fluke, especially when you look at the start. I think this second half they've played 9 shots, have had 3 on target. They've created 2 big chances in this particular second half. That is to tell you that this is the way to go. If you play shot and they're not on target, you don't expect a goal. And so far, they are doing the basic things of football.
Yeah. Well, we're now South Africa are operating on the left-hand side, which hitherto we're seeing sparingly there. And but the interception by the Czech team, they are pressing forward, and Poliso Mudaho tries to intercept the ball. Well, it's a 2v3 situation, and Czechia on the onslaught in the counter-attack situation. Pavel Souč there, he crosses the ball in, and unfortunately, Patrick Schick couldn't shoot it. There's a chance for Czech Republic again. No. Czech Republic are huffing and puffing, trying very hard to find the winning goal. But unfortunately, South Africa escaped by the skin of the teeth. They've been very much lucky here, because Rowan Williams wasn't in the right position to have saved the ball, and the defenders were passive in there. I think even though these defenders, South African defenders, have done a good job, there's more room for progress, because they've left a lot of the time Patrick Schick unattended to, and I thought that that wasn't good enough for them. And I think that's something Hugo Broos needs to look at, because if they are going to go into the final game against South Korea hoping for a win, then they need to do better, because in that game, Son Heung-min, Lee Ka-in, and the others, very fast players will be coming at them. And if this is how they are going to be approaching it, I'm sure they're going to lose against South Korea by a very wide margin. But South Africa have the ball at the moment, and Mudao gives the ball to Mofoken. Mofoken gives the ball to Apollis. Apollis cross the ball in, a long one. South Africa have a chance. They're about to enter into the box. South Africa rushing in. Oh, but an interception. Well, South Africa still has the ball, and Muliso now has the ball. Poliso Mudao passes the ball back all the way, Then it goes all the way. Let's see. South Africa still has the ball. And now the ball is with Apollos. Apollos has the ball, gives to Mokoena. Mokoena gives the ball to Modiba. South Africa steadily holding the ball, trying to find an opening in the game. But I think that Czech Republic at the moment are very much resolute. I think the point from Czech Republic is that if they are not going to score, they are not going to concede, because if they concede, it means that they are now losing a game and going to their final game against host nation Mexico, hoping for a win, which is going to be very difficult. Evidence Magopa, he beat about 3 defenders, turned them, got a chance against the goalkeeper, but unfortunately that was a feeble shot, and goalkeeper Matted Kova saves it. In the last 5 minutes, Evidence Magopa has had about 2 attempts on shot. In the first half of the game, goalkeeper Matted Kova made only 1 save. In the second half, in fact, in the last 5 minutes, goalkeeper Matted Kova has made about 3 saves in the last 5 minutes. It tells you that he's now under pressure from the South African team. South Africa are now up and doing in the game. Kuliso Mudau again gives the ball to Mafoken. Mafoken is looking for another, goes all the way back to Mudau. Mudau enters into the second half. Then Magopa gives the ball to Mafoken. Mafoken enters. Whether he crosses, he gives the ball to another player. There's a chance for South Africa to shoot. Oh no, a very, very important save. Modiba had a chance, but this is a problem. Modiba uses his right foot to play it. Modiba is left-footed. He didn't get enough of the ball, so it was a feeble shot. But first, most importantly, Modiba is a left-footed player, and the way the ball came in, he had to use his right foot. It was a very important, brilliant interception by Vladimir Sufa, a crossing by Aubrey Modiba, and unfortunately, well, South Africa still has the ball. Now their centre back Okon now is all the way as a winger. So South Africa are throwing caution to the wind. Well, South Africa, through their defender in Bukazi, a long shot, Patrick intercepts, and South Africa goes all the way back from Mokoena to goalkeeper Rowan Williams. And Rowan Williams is asking his players to retreat, and he takes a long one in. Evidence Magopa is against Ladislav Krejci. Krejci has the better, crosses the ball, and the ball goes back to Czechia's left back at the moment. And the referee whistles for the end of the game. Czechia took the lead in the 6th minute. With about 6 minutes to the end of the game, South Africa, through Teboho Mokoena, equalized. At the end of 90 minutes, regular time, and 6 minutes of added time, South Africa and Czechia play out a 1-1 draw. Both teams end match day 2 with a draw from 2 games. 1 point apiece for Czechia and South Africa from 2 games.
Thank you very much, Eugene, for that lively commentary. And now it's 1-1 again between South Africa and Czechia. And so Mokena's goal salvaged them a point, very crucial for them. Otherwise, they would have been, heading towards the exit of their journey in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Let's go for a quick break. We'll be back with the full-time analysis.
FDA approved.
Bigo Cola is changing the game and giving away free cash. Introducing the Bigo Scan and Win promo. Your chance to enjoy great taste and win instant cash every day. Just buy a bottle of Bigo Cola. Locate the QR code on the label. Scan with your smartphone, watch the video and enter your details and stand a chance to win instant cash. No waiting, no stress, just real rewards instantly. From everyday refreshment to unexpected rewards, Bigo Cola is more than a drink, it's an experience. So what are you waiting for? Grab your Bigo Cola today, scan the code and win big.
Bigo, big on taste, refresh your vibes.
This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
This advert is FDA approved.
Every game starts with pressure. The pressure to move faster, push harder, go further. On the pitch, every second matters, every sprint, every tackle, every chance. The world watches, but pressure doesn't stop me. It drives me. Because energy changes everything. The energy to keep moving, the energy to keep fighting, the energy to rise when the moment gets bigger. From the training ground to the world stage, I bring everything I've got. I don't wait for the moment. I create it with the energy that keeps me rising. Rush Energy Drink. Be bold, be you.
Drink responsibly. Not recommended for persons below 18, pregnant women and lactating mothers. This advert is FDA approved.
Every game starts with pressure. The pressure to move faster, push harder, go further. On the pitch, every second matters, every sprint, every tackle, every chance. The world watches, but pressure doesn't stop me. It drives me. Because energy changes everything. The energy to keep moving, the energy to keep fighting, the energy to rise when the moment gets bigger. From the training ground to the world stage, I bring everything I've got. I don't wait for the moment, I create it with the energy that keeps me rising. Rush Energy Drink. Be bold, be you.
Drink responsibly. Not recommended for persons below 18, pregnant women and lactating mothers. This advert is FDA approved.
Bigo Cola is changing the game and giving away free cash. Introducing the Bigo Scan and Win promo. Your chance to enjoy great taste and win instant cash every day. Just buy a bottle of Bigo Cola. Locate the QR code on the label. Scan with your smartphone, watch the video ad, enter your details, and stand a chance to win instant cash. No waiting, no stress, just real rewards instantly. From everyday refreshment to unexpected rewards, Bigo Cola is more than a drink, it's an experience. So what are you waiting for? Grab your Bigo Cola today, scan the code and win big.
Bigo! Welcome back from that quick break. And so here at the GhanaWeb, our coverage of the 2026 FIFA World Cup ongoing in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. The Bafana of South Africa, in their second group game in Group A, they weren't able to secure the maximum 3 points, but they were fortunate to come away with just a point. That gives them, I mean, a glimmer of hope heading into their final game against South Korea, which is expected to be a very cagey encounter. Let me engage my pundits. Victor, South Africa, at a point it looked like it was over. At a point, I think the latter stages of the game, they were showing glimpses of their quality, especially after the substitutions. I mean, what would you say about their performance generally?
Yeah, I think that they left it so late to get back into this game. If what we saw from them in the last 20 minutes of the game is anything to go by, I think that could have aided them to record an emphatic win. But again, this is a tournament. In tournament, you need to play them with a sense of emergency right from the blast to the whistle. And I think that South Africa got it all wrong in the first 45 minutes. Very poor first 45 minutes. Got back second half, did one or two stuff wrong, one or two stuff right in the second half. I think that penalty, if it had come a bit earlier, I would have seen, you know, a more voracious South Africa on the attacking slots. But unfortunately, they are able to salvage a point, which is very critical for them. Now, the biggest task for them will be against South Korea, and the big question is, can they do it against a South Korea side that has been very consistent for some number of years now? Can they do it against a South Korea side that scored Czechia in this particular game? Can they do it against a South Korean side that is one of the highest ranked Asian team at the moment? Those are big questions the players would have to ask. And what even makes it so sad is the fact that they are good players. They are going to lose out on their good players in that final group game. The likes of Nzwane, Tebo Mokwena, I think he will be adjudged the best, the player of this particular game.
Yes, I think actually he won the MVP.
Yeah, absolutely. So great stuff from them, but it looks like they got into the tournament a shade late when, I mean, the party was just about ending. If this was a performance from them in the first game against Mexico, then I would have rightly predicted that they would have won this particular game, at least to ensure that they would have been one of the third best placed team. But it's just too late. It's just too late. I don't foresee them qualifying.
You don't foresee them qualifying. Would you put the blame at the doorstep of Hugo Bruce? Some of his decisions has come under criticisms. I mean, South Africans player selection to tactics. Would you put the blame at the doorstep of Hugo Bruce?
Yeah, I think I'll shift it. It's not I'll put it. I'll shift it to his doorsteps because I mean, again, they are coaches. They are human beings. Sometimes they make mistakes. Sometimes they get it right. When you get it right, we'll applaud you. When you get it wrong, we'll lash at you. I think this time around, at the World Cup finals, his decision-making have been a bit problematic for the South African. In fact, it started right from the final squad. He mentioned the 26-man squad. He left out most of the veterans, and it was one of the things that got a tagline for most days heading into the competition. Why do you leave out Pesitao even in the tournament? Why do you start some of your experienced players? I mean, in the dying embers of game, like Evidence Magopa came into the game, changed the face of the game. I think that he's got everything virtually wrong, aside the psychological issues that we all agree has been present with this team because of the xenophobia attack. I think on the field of play, I think the coach have gotten certain decisions very, very wrong.
Let me come to you, Eugene.
Yeah.
I mean, Czechia, they thought, or at a point they felt they had stolen the lead or the victory, but eventually South Africa pegged them back.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult, and I think that this will be a group where it will not have any of the third best placed teams, because I think that it's going to be very difficult for Czechia when they're going to face off against host nation Mexico. I don't think they're going to win. And even if they, for example, if they get a draw, that means they would have got 2 points. And 2 points, I don't think 2 points would help them. For South Africa, going to face off against South Korea without Tebo Mokwena, again without Temba Zwane, I'm sure. Okay, by that time Sitelo will be back anyway. I'm sure it was just because it's 2 yellow cards, it will be 1 game. So I'm sure he'll be back for that. Sitelo will be back for that game. But generally, I don't think that South Africa has what it takes to beat South Korea. South Africa, I think they will also lose that game, so they'll end up with 1 point. And I think that for Czechia too, maybe 1 point or their best bet is a draw against Mexico. So I think that this is a group where possibly South Korea and then Mexico would progress as the top 2. And this is a group where we might not have any of the teams being members of the top ranked best third place teams.
Let's look at the round 1 of the matches, how the African teams fared. I mean, others did really well. Cape Verde, their goalkeeper became a global hero, who is celebrated globally to the extent that the U.S. State Department had to make arrangements for her mother to, be brought to the U.S. just to witness the exploits of her son. The African team's performance in round 1, how would you assess it?
I think that I've been very proud watching a lot of the teams. I think that what the teams are doing is that now, I think that African football is of age. We have come to a point where now, if anybody goes into the competition and is underrating African teams, they will have a huge surprise. Because if we look at the kind of teams that even pull the surprises, for example, if you're talking about Cape Verde, if we're in Africa, we are supposed to mention the top 5 best teams. I'm sure we'll mention Senegal, we'll mention Morocco, we might mention Ivory Coast, we might mention Nigeria, we might mention maybe there will be
maybe Algeria.
Algeria, we might mention Cameroon, we might mention. I'm sure we'll mention about 10 before we get to Cape Verde.
And even Ghana ahead of Cape Verde.
Some people say we can mention a solid 10 countries, which are very good countries in Africa, and we'll not mention Cape Verde. Because even Mali is a better country than Cape Verde in African football. But guess what? Cape Verde now goes to a tournament where even in Africa, Cape Verde is not even highly rated. And Cape Verde holds the European champions to a goalless draw. And I even say that Cape Verde had 3 chances within the last 5 minutes of the game where, because Spain were panicking, they thought that it would be a disgrace for them to end the game goalless draw. They committed a lot of numbers forward. And at the point, Cape Verde actually had counter-attacking situations where there were 3 players against Spain's 2 players. If they had taken their time, Cape Verde could have scored Spain 2 goals in the last 5 minutes, and they could have actually even won the game. If you check DR Congo's game yesterday against Portugal as well, it was a game where I was left disappointed. I've watched the DR Congo team. I've watched their match in the qualifiers. They were in a group with Senegal, Sudan, Togo. I remember. So I went to watch one of their games, and I remember I interviewed the coach as well. And one thing I've always loved about his mentality is that he believes that the destiny of their team always lies in the hands of the players, not the opponent. So whatever his decision is, he must map a strategy for his team to always win. He doesn't care about what the opponent does. And I've loved that approach. I thought that yesterday they missed a lot of chances. DR Congo should have beaten Portugal by 2-0. Cedric Bakambu of Real Betis missed a glorious opportunity to have scored. He missed about 2 of that. And I thought that yesterday, DR Congo actually could have won. I thought the only teams that have disgraced us at this World Cup will be Tunisia and South Africa. As for Tunisia, surprisingly, when it's time for qualifiers, Tunisia is always the first country to qualify because in their series, every home game Tunisia wins. So by match day 5 or match day 6, Tunisia would have qualified to the World Cup or to every competition. But I guess what the problem is, when you get to the tournament proper, Tunisia always struggles. Tunisia is our neighbors with Algeria and Morocco, and you see the progression of Algeria and Morocco. But for whatever reason, Tunisia does not seem to be learning from the Algerians and the Moroccans in terms of investment and other things. Algeria is not investing as much in their talents, but in terms of infrastructure. But they are smart enough to develop centers to train their talent, and also they are trying to get a lot of foreign-born talents to play for them. Morocco also doing that at the moment. But I think for Tunisia, they are not getting that pool. All the players who can play for them will not play for them because they don't think they are up on that pedal yet. I think that Ivory Coast were outstanding for me against Ecuador, and that was very brilliant. I loved their performance. I didn't think that Egypt would do against Belgium, but they really, I think Egypt was the team that surprised me. But I thought they also disgraced themselves like Tunisia, but they surprised me. I thought that which other country? So Ghana as well. We know what we've done. So I thought that Ivory Coast have been superb, and I predict that when Ivory Coast take on Germany, Ivory Coast will beat Germany. They will take the game to Germany, and Germany will panic, and Ivory Coast will beat Germany. So I think that I think Algeria as well. Algeria did very well, but unfortunately for them, Argentina was too tough a team for them. So I think that generally, if we take the 10 teams, I think only Tunisia and South Africa have disgraced us. Okay. Every other team, even if they didn't win, they played absolutely their hearts out and they played well. So I think the future of Africa is bright, and I think that if we continue this way, we can see an African team reaching the quarter, reaching the semi-final again, and possibly, if not this year, by 2030, an African team should reach the final of the World Cup.
An African team should reach the final of the World Cup. Victor, let me come to you. So, if you monitor the reportage surrounding the performance of African teams against the European teams, you can talk about the Portugal drawing 1-1 against DR Congo, Egypt holding Belgium to a draw, and then Cape Verde holding Spain to a draw. I mean, what are we getting right when it comes to African football, one? And secondly, can we maintain the momentum going forward?
Yeah, I think, first of all, congratulations to all the African teams. Like Eugene Riley said, and you yourself, you have affirmed, and even the Tunisian people, including the president of the country, agreed with us that so far it's only been South Africa and Tunisia who ordinarily, I mean, the way they conceded does not befit the status of an African team at the world stage. And so for that reason, Tunisia, they quickly have to make amends in terms of their coaching department with Heavy Reina coming in. That tells you how they prioritize their football and how they don't take nonsense, because Lamucci, obviously, they're friendly, proud to the World Cup, 10 goals. In fact, this appointment was a mistake. And I think that, yes, the Tunisians agreed to that, so we forgive them. I think for South Africa, with the kind of array of stars, the kind of players they've got, the array of players, we know that this is not a quality South African team, far below par, especially what they gave us at the 2023 African Cup of Nations. If it was that same squad, I think that they would have bettered their performance in terms of what they've given us so far. So, the South African situation, it is strictly at the doorstep of Hugo Broos. He's stubborn in nature, does not want to listen. How do you take this crop of players? I mean, with all respect to the South African players, but these are players who, have not tested proper football at the world stage. When I say proper football, I mean face tough European oppositions. This is Kotoko, playing Kotoko House of Folk. I mean, does not warrant you to go and face Argentina and the rest. So unfortunately for South Africa, again, we know where their issues emanating from. It is a coaching problem. And thank God that their head coach, Hugo Broos, have already told us that after this Mondial, he's going to resign. So great stuff for him. You talk about Egypt, like we've all agreed. Egypt, 7-time winners of African Cup of Nations, but when it gets to the world stage, they seem to always be fluffing. But I think this time around, there are a lot of narratives around the likes of Mohamed Salah. This could be his last World Cup, and so they need to impress. Omar Mamouche, coming from Manchester City, a player who have tasted proper football under Pep Guardiola. And when you're a big player, you need to dance very well on the biggest stage at the World Cup, and I think that we saw that from him. But again, this Egyptian squad, there's an ingredient. The ingredient is that they have been a consistent team, irrespective of where the players play. The likes of Zuzu and the rest, they play for the likes of Pyramid, El Ali and the rest. These are players who have been very consistent, and the kind of teammate they have teammates from outside the shores of Egypt. So in terms of exposure, it tells you that this Egyptian team is not, shy of that kind of quality. Then we talk about Senegal. I think that Senegal's game against France, it was always a looming bomb, especially the fact that they scored Senegal in that friendly. It was a reverse match, and I don't think that France were going to sit back and hold their hands for Senegal to score them on a second time on the road. So it was meant to happen. I think that at the end of the day, the quality in that Le Bleu national team, outpowered the Teranga Lions, and I think that great game from the likes of Kylian Mbappe and the rest. So Senegal, once again, one of the key teams we expect to do at this particular World Cup. But I think they've got 2 matches to play. Those games are winnable because the difficult one has been against France, and that is the toughest hurdle that have been crossed by them. Talk about Kivet. So far, my team of the first round, look, how they defended. It looked as if I had the phone number of the coach, Bobista, and because I was very confident that ahead of that particular game, the Spanish or the Spaniard, what they were going to do is to ensure that they play some stylish football. Of course, we know what they do with Barcelona and the Madrid, keep possession, hold possession more. And so if Kivet wanted to get anything from that game, they need to be very rough, they need to be very physical, they don't need to give the Spanish breathing space. And I think that Bobista, in fact, we need to applaud him, how he was able to scan the tactics to deal with this Spaniard. I think that he needs to be studied, and congrats to them, my team of the tournament. Then I think the DRC, great stuff from the DRC. Algeria, unfortunately, they cannot just match Argentina's quality. So first round, great stuff from African. Cote d'Ivoire, last minute goal against Ecuador. I think that was a fantastic game we witnessed. So far, it's been good for Africa, but let's see how many of them can cross into the round of 32.
Let's see how many of them can cross into the round of 32. And I think most Africans are anticipating that most of our reps will be able to progress into the round of 32. And probably, as Eugene said, possibly semi-final. And this time around, we'll break the jinx and make it all the way to the final. Let's acknowledge our sponsors at this moment. We have Rush energy drink. It says be bold, be you. You need the best energy drink to, release stress and relax, and also energize your body to work. It is Rush energy drink, #1 energy drink in Ghana. We also have Ula's Enterprise. Ula's Enterprise, yes. They do in equipment and such as generation sets. They have wheelbarrows. They also have water pump. All these items that they sell at the shop. Now you can contact them at 020 300 3498, 020 300 3498, or 024 816 9258, 024 816 9258. Now you can locate them at Ajirigano. They are also at Porsche Hotel and American House. Ajirigano, Porsche Hotel and American House. That's Ula's Enterprise. You also want just Chinese. The best meal if you want fried rice, jollof, or anything to eat when you want to satisfy your crave, it is just Chinese. They're also located at Airport Residential, Osu, and then East Legon. These are places where they have branches. Airport Residential, Osu, and East Legon. That is just Chinese for you. Vena Natural Mineral Water. Yes, Vena Natural Mineral Water. It says nature's finest. In fact, we have a lot of mineral waters, but if you want the one that was produced through nature, it has a lot to do with nature, and so it comes clean, and then it also offers you, healthy living. If you want to, live healthy, Vena Natural Mineral Water is also there. It is nature's finest indeed. DSTV, the official broadcaster of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Other, stations are promising that we will show you the match, but they show some, they don't show some. But DSTV gives you all the matches. Please, no stream bullet here. DSTV gives you all the matches, 104 matches. You are not just watching the matches, with normal view HD, high definition. You feel, the players, the pictures on the field, almost everything, you see it real. And so DSTV, your exclusive broadcaster of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Malcolm says where Ghana shops. Anything you need from groceries to equipment to electrical appliances, almost everything Malcolm has it. And so if you need, anything that you need, you just have to pass through any Malcolm branch in Ghana and you will be sorted. Malcolm, where Ghana shops. You also have Bigo Cola. Oh yes, we will see a lot of cola products, but since Bigo came, they've really done well to establish themselves in the system, especially in Ghana, and that has earned them, that reputation that almost everywhere we go, most events that you go, you see Bigo Cola. And so in case you don't know, if you have any events, Bigo Cola is one of the products to consider for your events. We also have Kunori. Kunori is a shea butter radiance, and then it keeps the skin hydrated for 72 hours. Yes, for 72 hours, not 24 hours or some few hours, for 72 good hours. And that gives you that glowing look that you want. And so Kunori shea butter radiance is also there for you. The best, one of the best when it comes to shea butter products in the country. Future City. They deal in sofas and recliners and coffee tables to units and gets up to 30% discount. So the name is Furniture City. And so they offer sofas, recliners, coffee tables, and then 2 units, and then 2 TV units as well. Now, we are in the World Cup season. Almost everybody is glued to their television set. And so they are offering you 30% discount. Yes, not the normal rates. You get a 30% discount. That gives you, reduce your budget and makes it more affordable for you. And so, yes, if you need sofas, recliners, coffee tables, or TV units, Furniture City is there for you. I mean, we also have 369 Gym and Wellness Center. I mean, they offer unique services. Now, whether you are a elite athlete, a weekend footballer, or simply someone committed to living a healthier life, the right environment makes all the difference. And then that's why East Legon 369 Gym and Wellness Center is open 24 hours a day. I mean, some gyms are closed in the morning, they are open in the evenings, but we provide you 24-hour service. And so that's 369 Gym and Wellness Center. They are located at East Legon. That's where they are located. Now, the kind of service that they offer strength training, reformer pilots, we have group fitness classes, we have sports massage, we have recovery services, IV therapy, and personalized wellness support built on wellness and healthy lifestyle. So yes, it's a gym, but not your normal gym. This one is sort of a conglomerate of a lot of things, including massage and all. So you go to a spa, but this gives you the opportunity to gym. Yes, the man wants 6 packs. You go there, you gym. Then if you are tired, you can also pass through the massage session to be massaged. It's only 369 Gym and Wellness Center that gives you this service. You also have Emmeline Logistics. Yes, your trusted paint and plaster board supplier in Ghana. Now, they offer quality interior and exterior paints, waterproof paint solutions. There are some paints, you purchase and then you apply it. Afterwards, you realize that if you, overdose the water small, then everything will spoil. But this one, it is waterproof. No, regardless of the amounts that you add, it still gives you the quality that you need. So if you want the best and paint and plasterboard suppliers, it is Emmeline Logistics. They also have acrylic paints and accessories. They have plasterboards and building materials. They also have competitive prices and an excellent customer service. Yes, excellent customer service, which is very, very important. Now, their branches, they are located at Dansuman Banana Inn, that's 922 Place Building, that's Saka Deuru Streets, and then we have Dome opposite the Gulf Fuel Station. We have Agege Last Stop, Dansuman as well. Now, you can call or WhatsApp them on 054 010 8725. 054 010 8725. And so these are our charity sponsors who have made GhanaWeb's coverage of the 2026 FIFA World Cup a success. This is where we draw the curtains down onto this edition of the World Cup coverage. And so this production was made possible by a team which includes Kelvin, Tony, Portia, Richard, Kwame, and then a host of others. Now, there are other people as well as Joel Eshen, whom I sat in for today, or regular host that I replaced him for today. There are others who are, watching us and also intrigued by our analysis, the commentary, and everything. Mandy Ajiman, yes, is watching us live and from Kaswa. Shout out to you, Mandy Ajiman, and all our cherished viewers who have been following us since the commencement of the 2026
Bigo Cola
FIFA
is
World
changing the game and giving away free cash. Introducing the Bigo Scan and Win promo. Your chance to enjoy great taste and win instant cash every day. Just buy a bottle of Bigo Cola. Locate the QR code on the label. Scan with your smartphone, watch the video ad, enter your details, and stand a chance to win instant cash. No waiting, no stress, just real rewards instantly. From everyday refreshment to unexpected rewards, Bigo Cola is more than a drink, it's an experience. So what are you waiting for? Grab your Bigo Cola today, scan the code, and win big.
Bigo, big on taste, refresh your vibes.
This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
This advert is FDA approved.
Fishing, for as long as centuries, has been the mainstay of these people, the coastal dwellers of Cape Coast in the central region of Ghana. It has been how they have survived and existed without much of a fragmented history except for its checkered past with slave masters. But today, young girls from here deal with much deeper sexual exploitation matters simply because they want to survive. Cape Coast's historical sites, beaches, and cultural events make it a popular tourist destination where visitors can explore castles, relax on these beaches, and experience the local culture. It also links many travelers moving between Ghana and neighboring countries like Côte d'Ivoire to the west and Togo to the east. Situated between Accra and Takoradi, Cape Coast is a central regional point for education and tourism. Cape Coast remains a focal point of a blurred past, as well as some of its resultant ancient problems that remain to date. I came here with many questions on my mind to investigate this story of young girls and to understand why this is so endemic in such a community. This is Inti, a fishing community just minutes from the Cape Coast University and steps from the iconic Cape Coast Castle. On most days, it is a regular busy coastal area. Yet here, there are no libraries, no schools, and no particularly safe spaces. Like most coastal communities in Ghana, the hustle and the winds of hardship are evident. But there is something else that remains a dark secret in this small community at the very heart of Cape Coast. One that you will never believe unless you are told. We reveal the deep secrets of vulnerable girls as young as 9 who are forced to give their bodies out for things as simple as fish just to survive. But giving their bodies out for survival is only one branch of the troubles of these girls. Some of them are pushed into these lifestyles by their mothers. Others permanently stay out of school due to a combination of poverty and teenage pregnancies. The consequences are heavy. Teenage pregnancies, broken homes, girls forced to drop out before they even learn to dream. I met 4 bold girls who came out willingly to speak with me. These girls are victims of this decades-long practice. They agreed to tell their stories, and for their safeties, we have concealed their identities.
I am 19 years old, and my child is 1 year and 4 months old. I gave birth when I was only 17 years. The father of my child is a fisherman. He slept with me when I asked for his help after I left home due to my auntie's maltreatment. In return, he gave me fish, but later stopped and began giving it to another girl.
Yes, and money be any memada. Maybe to say enam. Intina omone a mema eda. Enoque. Sana also would any isi and a sedan. Nipano oko eposo. Inti enam no de buy intina na odi oma obi and a sedan.
Many other young girls in my community also sleep with older men in exchange for fish.
I am 19 years old now, but my journey into motherhood began when I was just 17.
No more 17.
At the time, I was still a student with dreams of continuing my education. Then I met a 20-year-old fisherman. He told me to follow him, promising that he would give me fish to sell.
And when you're 20 years, and I'm also
so I could earn something for myself. I thought it was an opportunity, but that decision changed my life completely. By the time I realized what was happening, I was already pregnant.
Like or the epino or the dadam, and the dam mama.
Okay.
Ne okudum baby more dey yamne
I told him and he gave me some money for my antenatal care. After my baby was born, his family brought foodstuffs for the naming ceremony.
I helped my mom to sell. I used to school, but I had to stop at GHS 1 when I got pregnant at the age of 16.
I go school by major. Form 1. No more 16 years. Some more 17 years.
Okay.
I'm a boy now. Or breaking virgin.
My mother aborted the pregnancy for me so I could continue my education. But I dropped out due to financial challenges and constant teasing from my classmates. My parents are divorced and my father does not support the family. We are 5 children in the household, including one from my stepfather. I have friends who sleep with men as old as 35 to 40 years old for fish.
This woman from Inting knows the stories of this dark secret too well. She grew up here and narrowly escaped the clutches of what has become the bane of most girls born here. It is a life of survival, and she knows this too well.
It's young guys is a number. Oh, young guy being there, no yennefer. Oh, mammy bejanam. Or Zaman in there. Or Chinawaba, bejanam. In the fire for your mom. Just cake count. The next movie in there. Why is Banamanan? Why by any partner? It's all bandam not there. Or Janam no you brain. Or so don't you feel.
Raskobi runs an organization called Keep Your Beach Clean that focuses on tidying up the beaches and owning it while having fun. They also support these kids with books and entertain them away from the burdens they face back home. He has been working with young girls like these for many years.
Is it true that girls are giving sex out for things like fish?
Yeah, they're doing it. Yeah, I think it's kind of hard in the family, you know. And most communities there, what they do benefit or what they do gain is fishing. That's what they do. So fishing and sex is easy.
Cape Coast Mayor George Justice Arthur also has roots to Inti. He confirms this troubling recurrence among young girls, but is quick to add that it is not akin to his beloved community.
I am very much aware, but that cannot be noted all alone for Inter.
Okay.
It is within the areas of Cape Coast. The teenage pregnancy, you can find a lot from there. I mean, that one I can tell you the fact. I mean, when you go there, we have just a room where you can have about 20 people sleeping in the room, or 10 people sleeping in the room. So it doesn't give the parents that needed attention towards the awards. I mean, they will go out without they recognizing that the award have been out. Sometimes what is so perturbed and irritating is that when they come, they ask them whether or not they had some money.
You mean the parents?
Yes, the parents. If you are 18 years, not even 18, 14, 12 years, and you have given birth to a child, how would you take care of the child? Especially with an irresponsible person, what would happen? So they will keep giving birth to irresponsible people. You understand? If care is not taken. So we need to look at the problem holistically. What is causing this? I don't want to actually condone or connive or entertain with the fact that they are doing it. But let us look at the root cause. What is happening? Lack of parental care, I've said it. Lack of education, I've also said that one. Poverty is eating them up.
Admittedly, taking a walk on the street, we don't get to see
I think openly the things we're talking about.
Yeah.
The activities, the dark activities.
Okay, that's what we're gonna see at night, like in the middle of the night, around like from 11, 12 going. That's when the stores are all closed.
Okay.
And that's when the youth take over the streets.
Oh.
So that's why you're gonna see that. Yeah.
So this street doesn't actually sleep?
It does not sleep.
The nightlife comes up after 11 p.m.
After 11 p.m. going, that's when nightlife come out. And also there's some ghettos around here too, which is also kind of like take the kids away too. There's more ghettos around here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you say it's the young children that come
take
onto
over the streets, yeah, at night. It's from 11 going, they take over the streets. Yeah, so this is all in Tino.
Sorry?
This is in Tino. Yeah. You see, because of poor education and stuff, why will you be playing ball in the gutter, you know?
So the boys play gutter? Oh,
yeah,
they play football in the
sometimes
gutter?
they do have a football match in the gutter.
They actually have football matches?
Match. They will put a post in here. They will put another post here. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Bright Appiah is the executive director of Child Rights International. Over the years, his organization has engaged on many child-related subjects. I first asked him whether he is surprised at this revelation.
Well, not really, because we've also worked along that area, and there were some findings that we made, and the documentary that you've done confirms most of the things. Because when you pick the coastal areas, there are two things that normally happens to children there. They engage in early sex, and then you have a lot of adolescent